Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a Muppet Moment. It is a new year for some new moments, and if you're watching on YouTube, you might notice there's a change or two in the way in the way that we're laid out.
What? A new year, new Mupdates, new Mupdates set, perchance? It's all well, that's the classic saying, new year, new Mupdates set, and that's where we're at now.
True, people have been saying this for centuries. Um, I've moved. We have got a new update setup that's significantly better than just like me sitting in an office with some nondescript posters in the back. We're actually gonna have a bit of a Muppet backdrop. Kermit,
Woo!
Kermit
That's
mentioned.
Kermit! I know that guy!
He's in there. Obviously, if you've been listening audio this whole time, this isn't gonna make any difference to you, but it does to me. So we had to mention it.
That's the
Yeah.
thing. If you're an audio listener, the podcast set updates probably aren't going to matter to you. But for us, I have always part of having this podcast in the first place is so I can look back on footage and be like, that's the Muppet set. That's the my style. I own those Muppet things, and it's on camera. So this is very satisfying for us.
Well, we're looking at a new Mupdates HQ happening sooner rather than later, and it just means a better podcast background, a little bit more of a visually interesting podcast background, a podcast background that can change depending on theme and depending on if I am up for it enough. But yes, we are officially taking place from a new location over here. But oh my goodness, what a New Year. Max, how was your festive time and New Year time?
Yeah, that thank you for asking. I think the background change on the Mupdate set here really speaks volumes as to what 2026 is going to entail, where I'm at the end of the year. There's just been, I would say 2025 for me was a huge year of change, and I mean that
Oh,
positively. Change in all capacities, change and like physically like my location, change in just things I'm doing in my life, change in the way I'm going about certain things and relationships. 2025 was about change, and the end of the year gave me a lot of perspective on like, wow, I am a completely different person, and I'm entering in a year of new growth and new things going on. So yeah, change is good, change is inevitable, and I'm excited. I love change, and also in terms of like the specifics in regards to my like holiday season, it was really nice to be around people that I love. I think I had a great Noche Buena. I had a great I ate a ton of Filipino food. It was wonderful. We had a very Filipino Christmas time. But I ended up ringing in the New Year's with my Muppet pals. It was really sweet. I had a whole plan. I feel kind of bad because like I did get invited to some like parties here in Seattle, and I didn't mean to cancel on those people because it was nice for them to invite me. But I just the end of the year, all that stuff I was just talking about change, all of that. It's just like I wanted to end the year around people that I love and people who just accept me for who I am and truly I am close with because of our shared love for this thing, but also because of like we've all had such intense, beautiful growth. And I love that. And thank you for letting me trail on and on and on about my year. But thank you, Will. How was your freaking Christmas time holiday season?
what a beautiful and poetic way to begin. My goodness me. Wow. I'm very glad that you had a good sort of back end of your year. I'm gonna start off our like
Oh,
beginning.
I just
Oh,
want to say it was actually a very hard, shitty winter. I would say generally winter was bad, but there was a lot of I'm for the
we're just
podcast
getting
audience.
started. We're just getting
For,
started with winter. We're only in month two.
oh fuck, you're so right. It's been a hard end of the year, and for the podcast audience, I wanted to just communicate the perspective I gained from it.
It's yeah. Oh, it's been a pretty significant one. I think the first thing that I'll do before I talk about the end of my year is start off with an apology because we had planned to do a bit more of a festive rollout, and the absence of that is on me. I moved at the start of December, so had a little bit of a jumbled last month of the year. Of all the months to move to the other end of the UK, I had to pick the last one of the year. And then I was up here for 2 weeks and then immediately went back home for Christmas. filmed one festive special for
One
Muppet
great
Moment,
festive special, Muppet Family Christmas.
which was great, and go listen, even if it's not Christmas anymore. But yeah, sorry that we didn't have more of a festive rollout. We're gonna make up for it this year, though. We're gonna have a big festive rollout. Lot of special topics, a lot of special guests. But yeah, it's been as you said, it change. My goodness me, yeah. I'm up in Scotland now, and things are a little bit
Woo!
different up here. Woo!
The
So I kind of
Washington of England. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
if you say I'm taking your word for it, I'm taking your word for it. But yeah, I've got a new place and I've got a new flatmate, and so I did Christmas stuff, and I celebrated Hanukkah for the first time ever because I'm not Jewish, but my
I
flatmate
am.
is.
Woo!
Woo!
Anti-Zionist Jews forever.
Fuck yeah. Um, and so yeah, I celebrated Hanukkah for the first time, which was really fun to do. Um, bless my roommate, like let me put my little plush of Zoot up next to the menorah when we lit the candles, and
Famously Jewish Muppet, of
he
course.
put a little rubber ducky of Spock from Star Trek up there. So equivalent exchange. I love Judaism. Um, but yeah, had a really fun Christmas back at home. Oh my goodness, got some more Muppet stuff over the Christmas period. Just like going crazy on this collection now that I've actually got a space to display it. But yeah, there was a little event between Christmas and New Year's that I feel like we would be remiss if we didn't mention. We've been around the bush for a little bit for a while, but we had the pleasure of hosting the red carpet for Joe Muppetology and Shelby Weir Puppet Girl's own Muppet Grammy Awards.
Yes! Oh my God,
Oh
that was so
wow.
fun. First of all, thank you, Joe and Shelby, for asking us to host the red carpet. That meant so much. Y'all are amazing. We love you both so dearly. But this event, like we neglected to talk about it because just it ended up like we knew the effort that Joe and Shelby and Michaela McMups and Leah Makes Mayhem put into this show. There was a lot of hands that went into this to like make this a really fantastic time. But it just ended up being so good. It just getting the whole community together, giving people the opportunity. Like we ended up interviewing like 40 something people
Oh
on
my
the red
goodness.
carpet. Like
Yeah.
we just it was a beautiful time for the whole Muppet community to show off what they're doing, do their art stuff, just talk. It was a really cool time. And so thank you, Joe and Shelby, for doing this incredible thing for this community and all the people who were involved in making this happen.
Genuinely such a special night because like it was literally just like a big community event, and it felt very community oriented. We we did go an hour over in our interviews because we spent so much time interviewing so many people. We got a little bit too engrossed in it,
There's
and
too many stars, too many
too many stars.
stars in the sky, man.
Oh my
Like,
goodness, so many of our friends, so many people that we were speaking to for the first time, so many incredible artists, so many incredible collectors, so many incredible puppet builders and puppeteers. Oh my goodness, some like highlights of the night. We got to witness the beef
yes.
between Kal-El and Living with Dino unfold on the red carpet in front of us. That was a pretty tense time for us.
Yeah, I just want to say that the A Muppet Moment podcast does not endorse the statements that were made by the red carpet guests, specifically the attacks made by Kalel and Dino against each other. We were just like on the red carpet interviewing, and then all of a sudden, all of the puppets are beefing with each other. What is, and it's the puppets. And we spoke to the representative for Colette. We spoke to the handler of Dino, and it seems like things have some peace, but we cannot be too sure. That was a ooh, hands were being thrown.
Just a tense moment to deal with on the fly, but just one of the many special moments of the night of us just like interviewing so many incredibly talented people, and then what
Uh,
the
uh,
actual
uh,
freak
So
we
we spent like 3 hours interviewing people, and honestly, like in not in like a frustrating way at all. I just was like that was incredible. We got to meet so many new people, and that's like why it was a really fun time. But it really spoke to how like wow, I feel so small in the sense that there's this whole world of people. There's so many people within this community. Will, what happened at the red car at the freaking Muppet Grammys?
You lot happened. Everybody who has listened to and supported this podcast happened because we were up
Woo!
against some like pretty significant competition. The Commitment podcast will shout
Yeah.
you out. All the Tough Pigs podcasts we were going up against. Shout all of you guys out because out of all of these guys, you chose us to be the winner of
Yes.
Podcast of the Year at Muppet Grammys. This,
Oh my God. Thank you
oh
guys
my
so
goodness.
much.
No,
As
thank
Will
you
just
all.
said, we won Best Podcast at the inaugural Muppet Grammys because of all of you. This community, we've only been around for like what, 10 episodes
I
now?
was gonna
And
say
we
this
were
is like this is marking maybe the 10th episode. I want to say
like literally,
we're teetering on 10.
we've been around for not that long. We were up against, as Will said, some intensely strong competition. That all of the Tough Pigs podcasts, as well as Commitment, that is literally produced by a Green brother.
Commitment.
That
We
was
are
a
collabing. Like if you're listening to this, we're gonna get on the hall. We're gonna get on the horn.
literally, and
We're
that's
gonna
the
get on the phone. We're gonna do something. Come on.
and, and that's to say, I think Will can agree to this, is that we have so much damn respect for Commitment and for all the people, all of the different podcasts. I love the Prairie Dawn podcast. It's like all of these things, all of the people and all of the different podcasts that were listed are all ones that we listen to, that we love listening to. It was tough competition. The reason why we're so like blown away by this, one, I cannot, like, it's incredible to see this community mobilize in that way when we were up against such stiff competition. But two, it's because those other podcasts are so high quality and stuff that really speaks volumes to the creativity and the just the effort that people in this community put in, that for us to win that, we're like, what? Like y'all fuck with us like that? Y'all like us like that? Like really? Like
Think we're pretty.
y'all think we're
Stop.
pretty? Like
Okay, but genuinely, it was such a surprise to both of us when they
yeah.
threw us up for our little speech. I think we were both lost for any kind of words. But now that we've coordinated ourselves a little bit since then, sincerely, it is an absolute honor that you nominated us for this. Which, grand scheme, doesn't mean that we are objectively the best.
Yeah, of
But
course.
just because like that's arbitrary, that's a non-issue. But just the fact that you'll have enjoyed what we've put out there so much legitimately means the world to us, and we want to continue doing it because this is a creative endeavor that me and Max have absolutely loved working on together. I love that I'm able to continue to be creative with one of my best friends, and we're able to talk about something that we love and share it with you lot, and you want to listen to it. You want to know what we think. That's insane. Yeah,
Like
just
yeah.
huge from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much to everyone who voted, for all the people who have contributed to making this podcast great and just sharing it, listening to it, making art for it. We have what has been born out of this endeavor, this creative thing of with one of my closest buddies here, getting to talk about something that I love so dearly, Henson Projects, Muppets as a whole. To have this beautiful community come out of that, of people who want to engage with this, who want to be involved and talk Muppets and do all that, enough to the point that we were able to win an award about like for Muppet podcasting. Like this community is amazing. And I appreciate you all listening so much because as Will said, this is a huge creative endeavor for us that we both care about so deeply. Like my biggest thought going into 2026 at the end of the year was, oh my God, I have so many podcast episodes that I want to record. There's
So
so
many.
many. Like, Will and I have been planning out the year, and y'all ain't ready for the lineup that we've got. This is going to be crazy. Like, episodes, guests, everything. I'm very excited for this year of Muppet Momenting.
No, we got some series planned. We want to do some like spotlights on specific puppeteers. We want to talk about specific shows that we both seen that we want to yap about. Shows that we haven't seen, shows that we are yet to see. Gonna have a bunch of special guests on. Gonna hopefully get some like involved people. We're putting the feelers out there as we continue to grow. And obviously because there's so many things happening this year, we're gonna have so much to talk about. Not just everything that has already come before, but everything that's continuing to happen, which is an interesting topic. And if only we had the time to talk about all of the things happening this year. If only we
It's
had a
almost
platform to do this.
holy cow, it's I wish we had a place where we could spend a few hours talking about everything happening in 2026, our predictions about those, what we hope happen, and the stuff that's already been confirmed. Oh my gosh, it's almost like this is the Muppet Moment episode about 2026 Muppets. What's to come, predicting, and all of that. That's
Oh,
the name, that's the title.
wow. How convenient that we have a platform
Yeah.
to be able to talk about what's going to happen in the year or what we reckon is going to happen in the year. So now that we have put 2025 in a very sort of in a very neat little shoebox and
The
tucked it under the
Rob
bed.
Lake shaped casket.
Oh, don't even get me started by that king. West End Rob Lake, I think, is the first big prediction. We want Rob Lake Magic
Yes.
featuring special guest Muppets on the London West End. Come on, please, 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 please,
Woo!
Rob. Please, Rob, hit us up. We'll make it happen.
Please.
Um, but no, we have got a lot of stuff that we know is happening this year. A lot of stuff that is through the grapevine, I guess is the best word for it, and a lot of things that could happen that we want to call that we want to be the first ones to say it. My goodness. Well,
I,
if only there
what's
was something significant for us to start off with.
well,
That's happening very soon.
I would like to first say that this is what's insignificant about this to me, in the sense that, like, we have, as Will just said, we have a lot to get into in terms of specific things that have already been confirmed. This is one of the first years in like a decade, basically. It's felt like we've had new Muppet things to discuss at all. I'm not counting Muppets Now, because that, like, let's be real, that barely counted as a show in the first place. It's like the 2015 series truly feels like the last time we have had like new Muppet things to talk about that wasn't like a random show or pre-show at the Disney parks. Like, Muppet things don't come around that often, but this is like a I feel a level of excitement that I haven't felt in a very long time, because so many things have been confirmed that in comparison to years past, decades past, it's been a freaking long time since we've gotten some new Muppet stuff to even talk about.
Because like the Muppets have had a bit of a difficult ride over the last decade. Because as you said, the last time we felt like we were getting like consistent Muppets content out was probably up to the end of 2015. Because since then it's been like very sporadic. We get the odd like Disney Plus special here, or the odd Disney Plus series that gets cancelled after a season there, or the odd Muppets are featuring in something, but they're not the main players of. They've shown up at the Game Awards, they've shown up on Booking.com adverts, they've shown up
On Broadway
they
with
showed up with
Rob
the
Like
last of the real
Magic.
ones. They've shown up doing stage magic in their Broadway debut, but this is the first time in a really long time where it feels like they're really getting a spotlight. And after the year that 2025 was, becoming so immersed in the Muppets and being like I became Mupdates in March, started this podcast, started getting way more involved with the Muppet community. It feels like, wow, what a beautiful time for this to happen. It's like it's all falling into place. And I've said it before, I feel like there's something on the horizon. There's a
Yes.
change in the air. You know, like when you like there's the idea of like farmers know there's about to be a thunderstorm when you see all the cows
Bro,
like sit down.
it's
It
the
feels
Delta
like
winds, bruh. It's the Delta winds.
it feels like all of the cows are sitting down. I feel like there's about to be a change in the weather. There's something about to happen. It genuinely feels like it. And it's
Yeah. So I
really
will, I think, makes a really good point about the feeling of like the difference in the feeling between what we've been used to in terms of getting Muppet stuff and Muppet stuff happening and things coming out. I would agree fully. And I think there's like a timeline here as to why that is. And again, I'm not trying to like toot my our own horn here or act like us Muppet posting on Instagram. It's like it's not correlation does not equal causation. I'm not sitting here being like, dude, Will and I posted about the Muppets on Instagram with our friends, and now they're back. Oh, but you know, there were two massive meetups at Muppet Vision 3D before it closed, in a way that felt beyond just like some Disney fans getting together and celebrating a ride before it closed. It spoke, especially I was there on the last day of Muppet Vision 3D, the amount of Muppet fans that were there, the feeling you got when you were at Muppet Vision on the last day was, oh my god, yes, this thing is going away, but it feels like Disney because there was hella executives there. There were hella people who were involved in like bigger Disney planning things, looking around on the last day, going like, "Oh shit!" Like, "Oh shit!" People like actually like really fucking like the Muppets beyond just like people using this Muppet Vision 3D place as a way to get air conditioning on a hot day. Like, oh my god, people like these guys, and that only transformed. Like, I think that really laid the seeds, and then throughout the whole year there were like the Muppet performers like Dave Goelz and Frank Oz and all of these people who I would say typically don't do as many like conventions and aren't as like involved with the community, started doing way more community events, like started doing way more, like
Like all the
puppeteers got
ThamesCon
together.
stuff. We had Dave Goals at two conventions this year. And
literally
somebody who, to my knowledge, has never attended a convention in the UK before. We had
literally
Brian
we
Henson at the freaking Labyrinth event just gone. Like that
like
doesn't mean nothing.
we had a whole Labyrinth convention happen. We had puppeteers get together. It's like we haven't seen Steve Whitmire get together with these puppeteers in forever, and they were all on they were all on panels this together at conventions. And then we get the announcement of even though again it's super sad that Muppet Vision is closing, but I don't think that speaks to the Muppets ending. The fact that we got the announcement of this rock and roller coaster thing, like to me, I don't speak for the entirety of the Muppet community, but to me, that feels like a clear progression of, oh shit, people like the Muppets. Oh wow, these people are like really getting more involved with that fan community. There is genuine excitement around this ride. Like, so I think there really has been a snowball and things kind of building.
It legitimately feels like the fondness for the Muppets, now that especially people are a lot more active online with it, it has a lot more of an opportunity to flourish, and as you said, a lot more of a platform to snowball from. And I think that because it's unfortunate that the Muppets' fate essentially now is decided by committee, because it's got to be at a certain end of the day, it's got to be like the Muppets will only be as active as Disney considers them profitable.
Yes.
But it seems like they are genuinely starting to consider it now, because even as much as it kind of really feels like with this Muppet special coming up, it feels like this has to do well in order for us to get more, because otherwise they would have just greenlit a whole series, like a whole season or a whole like couple seasons of it. We, it feels like we're teetering on the edge of it, and it feels like Disney are like testing the water in terms of are they ready for a comeback? Please, we're ready for it. If anybody's
Please.
listening, we're ready for a
I
comeback. We've been
I
desperate for it.
I think you make a fantastic point of to just Disney being the ones who controls the levers on whether or not Muppet stuff even happened in the first place. I think I think what the point that we're gonna try to like, I guess, make throughout this podcast, or one of the points that we're gonna be making throughout this, is that there is excitement in the air and it feels like something has shifted. It feels like there are Muppet stuff on the horizon. We have a new special with Sabrina Carpenter. We have a new ride coming out. We have new collaborations and new things happening, but that operates under the nuance that this is only through the lens of Disney and their hardcore capitalist profiteering eyes. Muppets only exist to be profitable under the Disney Corporation. That's how they view them. And so for me, I'm very excited about this year of Muppet things, but it is a very like hesitant excitement because I know that this could all be taken away from us. Will is absolutely correct in pointing out that if this is not a full series yet, we hope that it gets like picked up. That's the rumor, that it's like a backdoor pilot, but it's a special currently because it does feel like Disney's dangling it in front of our faces and being like, let's see how profitable, let's see how many people actually stream this before we give you Muppet things.
Yeah, it's like, do you really like him? Is this like
Yeah.
a Morbius thing where you guys said you were gonna go and then you didn't go and then we re-released it a second time because you said you were gonna go this time and then still nobody went? Is it? Are
It,
you Morbiusing us? We're not
it,
Morbiusing you.
we're not marbling.
We're not morbing you right now. We want this.
Yeah.
We need this.
It feels like Disney saw the closure of Muppet Vision 3D and saw how Muppet fans packed the park. And they were kind of like, okay, we'll give you
Hmm.
like we gotta make
Throw 'em a
sure we gotta
bone.
see if Like, is this like because of like you're because y'all are like Disney fans and y'all didn't want to see this ride close, or is this because y'all actually care about the Muppets?
I'm sorry, but that was something very like I'm sorry. Fuck, what was it? What was it called? Stuff to be a Bug was not getting that same treatment. Like there was
Dude,
something distinctly different about the Muppet Vision closing. There are rides like my partner absolutely loves the ride Dinosaur. I know it's not getting that same treatment. There are like
yes,
legacy rides that did not get the same treatment the Muppet Vision did because it was fundamentally different. Because it was not just a ride that people enjoyed closing. It was a piece of a legacy that we felt was being stripped away. And I feel like Disney, like they might not take the right lesson from it, being like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have stripped away that legacy and we should find a proper way to preserve it. Put it back in the fucking parks.
put it back in the park.
But put it back in the fucking park. But yeah, it seems like there's like a renewed interest in the Muppets, and they're like, damn, okay, we'll test the waters. We're not
Yes,
promising anything, but we'll see.
and
But
there is
and
oh, sorry. I just want to say that there's a renewed level of excitement from people who work within Muppet Studios. Like, obviously, neither of us work there, so we can't speak to firsthand account or anything like that. But what has been posted by different puppeteers who are working on the new Muppet special, from people, just excitement and rumblings that we've heard, it feels like there is just a renewed passion and a like an excitement for this special that goes so far beyond excitement for things like Muppets Now and all of that. It feels like Muppet Studio truly has an opportunity to bring the Muppets back in a huge, big way. I think Disney I think this has all been like 2025 really was a domino where the Disney Corporation saw the Muppet Vision closure, saw the response to getting a special, like are doing the special and seeing the response. And I would say the response, like Will and I are about to get into like breaking down the special as a whole. And we keep talking about this quote unquote special, but we need to like really explain what it is. But I really do feel like the general public has had a lot of really cool excitement for this Muppet project, like in a way that not it's not that I didn't expect people to like it because the Muppets fucking rule, but seeing the general public respond to this so positively makes me very excited.
it's oof. There are pals of mine who I've got locally who aren't as diehard about the Muppets as I am. Are legitimately excited for this. I am hosting like a in-person watch party.
Same.
I'm having about like 10-ish people over.
Same.
I'm gonna be making stuff from the Miss Piggy cookbook. We're gonna do like a potluck. It's gonna be a whole thing. Having like a full-on get together to sit and watch this special when it drops. The general public is ready for the Muppet. My goodness me, my hair. If you're watching visually, you can see that my hair is giving me trouble today. But yeah, there is a renewed interest in the Muppet Show, and I feel like this special is going to be a turning point because you've not only got what I think is like a good idea, definitely, because the Muppet Show is probably one of the most recognizable formats that the Muppets have taken. But you've got probably one of like the hottest names in pop culture right now attached to it. And oh my goodness, if you've been following me, if you've been keeping up with what I post, you will know that like this is probably the most significant thing ever to me, having Sabrina Carpenter, who has been top of my list for like guests who should be like attached to the Muppets or should be guests on a Muppet Show revival. To see that she is the one who is like ushering it in, genuinely massively significant. And I think now is the best time to zero in on Miss Muppet Show reboot because oh my goodness, I have so many things to say about it.
Yeah, I think like for the Muppets, I think they did the 2015 show where it was basically like 30 Rock, but with the Muppets. They did Muppets Now, which was like Muppets on Zoom calls. I think the general public, like beyond people like us who are hardcore Muppet fans, I really think the general public has been looking at the Muppets like, can we just bring back like the Muppet Show, or like what we like, this is what we know them for, this is the shit we like the most, bring back the two funny old guys on the balcony, like that's what the general public wants. And I think that like it was a smart move to kind of go back because the Muppets, we're in 2026 now. The Muppets very much exist as nostalgia. It very much is a thing. We've been so neglected from Muppet projects for over a decade now that the Muppets very much exist as a thing from the past that people were really obsessed with. So I think doing a Muppet Show revival, specifically the original format of the show, is probably the smartest move they could make because they realize that they can play it like Disney realizes they can play off of people's nostalgia. That'll drop and be like, oh my God, the Muppet Show is back. But they're also recognizing that that's like their classic format. And like, I think for the Muppets to be successful, I think a lot of people, I'm not saying this is necessarily the reason why they're going to be successful versus haven't been in the past in these recent years, but I think there's an attitude shift where it's like, we keep trying to make the Muppets all of these different things. Like, let's just go back to the roots, man. Like, let's just take it back to the OG, actually, like the original Muppet Show shit. And I think that'll work out really well. And to Will's point about Sabrina Carpenter, I just think she is like a fucking perfect person to have in this special, not only for her like star power and her pull within like the Hollywood and all of these things, but like she like Will, like I'm sure Will has a shit ton to say about this, but I think she like what we've heard, the rumor is that she used her influence within the Disney company to push for this special to happen because she wanted to be involved. And to me, that's, and even besides that, like regardless of that, I think she's totally a person that is who understands the silly nuance of the Muppets, if that makes sense.
I would argue that there is nobody working today who kind of represents the humor of the Muppets better than Sabrina Carpenter. She, if you've
Mm.
seen, like, even in some of her, like, I want to say it was the VMAs that she did a while ago. In a lot of her performances and a lot of her music videos, and just like a lot of like her, even in her lyrics, her humor is very kind of like vintage. Her vibe is kind of very vintage in that sort of like timeless, classy way. A lot of her like she's very good at physical comedy. She's very much she's very aligned with Miss Piggy, and I've made this point a lot of times. And the fact that they released the trailer and they've already got her sharing scenes with Miss Piggy, it's like, oh my goodness. But no, she is somebody who I feel like understands the humor of the Muppets and is very aligned with like the best of the Muppets, like sort of Jerry Jewell-ish, sort of like tongue-in-cheek style, and not necessarily like explicit and adult. Like I don't think she's going to be performing like Tears on the Muppet Show, which is a very explicit song. But like I think she understands that sort of like that cheekiness. Like that's a big part of
Like,
her humor and her pull, and I think that her bringing that to the Muppets would be nothing but a boon.
I think there is a hugely distinct difference between a celebrity being involved in a project because they just have pull and star power versus this situation where it feels very specific. Like, this is not a Lady Gaga and the Muppets Christmas special, right? Where
Not to
they're
shame
just
her
kind of,
twice, like back to back.
yeah, back to back mentions of this, but it's
Sorry,
like
go
that
on.
is a special. I bring it up because that is a special in which a celebrity is kind of shoehorned with the Muppets. It's just like Lady Gaga's popular, and here's the Muppets, so that'll work. But it sucked. It did not work. It's like one of the worst Muppet projects ever. But Sabrina Carpenter, this feels so damn intentional from every front. It's like it's not just that Sabrina Carpenter is a famous popular artist right now. I think in her most recent album and a lot of the stuff she does, Will is absolutely right in making the point that she does represent a lot of what Piggy stood for and what she pushed for in the Muppet Show, the kind of vibe that Piggy put off of like a glamorous diva. I think for me personally, like I live here in Seattle. I live in like the queerest fucking part of Seattle. For me, the dolls, the girls, everyone is talking about this special and specifically the relation of Piggy and Sabrina Carpenter because like Piggy has always been popular. Piggy has been a star, but I really do feel like in recent years she has been embraced even harder as like a feminist icon, as somebody, an icon within the queer community. All of these big things where people are looking at this special, looking at how like I think I think it's a very specific time where Piggy is being thought of with the cultural reverence that she deserves by young people, specifically young women again. That like not only was this a perfect opportunity to get Piggy back in something specific and popular, but using an artist who is so inspired by all the shit that Piggy put out, I think it was a fucking perfect move.
Literally chef's kiss. Like I've been on the Sabrina Piggy front lines for a while. I've been
Yes, you
drawing
have.
these connected. I'm not the only one who's done it, but I have been like very vocal about my feelings about how aligned Piggy and Sabrina are, and to have her ushering this in as somebody who genuinely feels like she cares about the Muppets. Like the very last show that she had, like it could have had some like crazy big celebrity, like a crazy big human celebrity rather, because arguably that was the biggest star on the whole tour. But doing the whole like the whole arrest thing, having the very last one be Miss Piggy, like that doesn't mean nothing. I, I'm so overjoyed that Sabrina is the one doing this, and I really feel like she is gonna like her style of comedy is gonna lend itself to the Muppets really well. And I can cite a specific instance as to why I think this, because over the Christmas period, me and my partner watched something that we didn't get to watch the year before because it came out, I want to say in Christmas 2024 type time. A Nonsense Christmas, the Sabrina Carpenter Netflix like little hour long like festive special. And if she brings even an ounce of the energy that she brought to that special to the Muppet Show, we could be looking at peak. We could be looking at like genuinely like best of the Muppets territory because she
Yeah.
is so suited to like the TV special format because it was like a few skits and a few like musical performances. Genuinely, like she is the person to do this. She is exactly the right person for the job. And I genuinely think that like her sequences are some of the bits that I am the most excited for about the Muppet Show. But and obviously there's a lot more about the show that I'm excited for, but Piggy and Sabrina or it's Sabrina like it seems like we saw in the trailer like little bits of it, little inklings as to what's going on, and the fact that she's got like a musical number with like freckles, like come
Yeah.
on.
With
They could have
Jade
just been
Green
like, "Oh my
Crackle, are
God,
you kidding?
Sabrina does like espresso with Miss Piggy," but no, they got her doing like a fun physical comedy musical routine with freckles. Like, come on.
There's a lot to unpack with that. I have a lot to say
Oh,
about the freckles and
I know you
seeing.
got strong feelings about the freckles.
Yeah, Will's got strong Sabrina feelings. I've got strong Frackle feelings, and I so there's a lot with that. I think my prediction for the special, and with Will bringing up Sabrina and Piggy together, I think that is going to be the most entertaining part of the special is the dynamic between Piggy and Sabrina. I think a lot of people, I haven't fucking read the script of this. I don't know how this is gonna go, but I think a lot of people are just assuming that Piggy is going to be jealous of Sabrina the entire time, and that's going to be the joke of the special. That Piggy is jealous of Sabrina. To me, I think that is like I in hopes that they're not flanderizing Piggy as to being that's like her whole personality. I think like what if like thinking about Piggy's character and thinking about how she is as a person, I think it's going to be very, and again we referenced this character before, it's going to be very Maureen the Mink attitude. All right, it's going to be very much Piggy's going to come in and be like jealous as fuck, like what blonde wearing pink, like that's moi. Like she's going to be jealous as fuck of Sabrina. But then she's gonna meet Sabrina, and then Sabrina's gonna be like, "Oh my god, you're a diva. You're literally my biggest inspiration. Like you're an icon to so many women." And then Piggy, that's why Piggy ends up dressing like fucking Sabrina for the like. I literally think Piggy's gonna be so flattered that she's gonna be like not jealous and upset at Sabrina, but just so like, oh, like this is like I am now gonna force myself into every single thing that you're doing because you are literally everything. I think they're gonna get along so well and then team up and use their star diva power energy to like Kermit's gonna be like, oh no, there's two of them, like that kind of shit.
It's oh my God, because it could be just it's just having I agree with you entirely that having the like, oh, Sabrina's gonna steal my man bit. That's it's not. It's not something I would be excited about seeing. But it seems like they've already sidestepped that from what we've seen from the trailer.
Yes.
Having Sabrina and Piggy having a good rapport, having them wearing matching outfits, and it looks like they're going to do a number together. Like, I feel like they've already sidestepped like worst case scenario. I
Uh-huh.
think it would be very fun if they have like a little, because which oh my goodness, which guest was it? Was it Raquel Welch, where they did a number together but they were still kind of like
Yes.
frenemying? That could be a fun dynamic.
Absolutely.
But the concept of what you just said, the concept of Sabrina Carpenter reheating Maureen the Minx nachos in 2026 is crazy.
I'm
Uh,
your biggest fan.
she's got to do the
I
voice, otherwise
was
it's no dice. She's got to do Sabrina's got to do Maureen's voice, otherwise I'm not
holy,
having it.
like I really think that this special is gonna have so much incredible Piggy moments of Piggy just getting to live her star diva self. I think Muppet Studios and just like Disney as a whole have kind of like obviously Kermit has been the most popular Muppet forever. He is the brand namesake, the guy on the logo doing all the stuff. However, I think like there has been a realization that Piggy is like obviously she's been the star forever. Everyone loves Piggy. She's been culturally a star for so long. But Piggy really is the one that like people want to like really fucking see. And
Hmm.
I think they realize that this is going to be yes, Sabrina Carpenter special, but it's going to have so much pigginess. And there's going to be so much Piggy going on that I think it's just going to play out so well.
Well,
I
obviously,
also feel,
oh,
oh
sorry.
yeah, no, you go, you go.
Well, as to touch on what you said, obviously Kermit's got star power because he's so incredibly recognizable. I feel like Kermit has kind of transcended like just like I feel like there are a lot of people out there who like Kermit that aren't necessarily Muppet fans. I feel like Kermit has transcended the popularity of the Muppets and he's become kind of like like there's so many like memes with Kermit that just like I have nothing to do with the Muppets. There are so many people who just like do fun stuff with Kermit. Every single man on the planet thinks he can do a Kermit the Frog impression. Doesn't
Literally.
mean every single man on the planet has seen the Muppet movie. But it's like Kermit has transcended the Muppets in terms of his popularity. He is like an icon. But I would argue that, especially in recent years, Piggy's done the same. I would argue that Piggy is more of a celebrity than a Muppet in modern age, especially because there's been so little in the way of consistent Muppet content. I feel like Piggy is a celebrity in her own right. And like,
Yeah.
but I feel like she has been for like a long time, especially in like the peak of the Muppets' popularity, like the 1980s and 90s. I feel like Piggy transcends the Muppets in terms of her popularity. So there will be people who will be tuning in just to see like Miss Piggy and Sabrina Carpenter. My big hope is that Sabrina Carpenter like stan Twitter accounts start getting really like Muppet aligned. They'll watch this special and they'll become super they'll fuck super heavy with the Muppets. That's my hope with this. But I feel like Kermit and Piggy have so transcended they I would argue that those two, even individually, are more iconic than the Muppets as a unit, the Muppets as an existing thing.
Yeah.
It's a bold statement, but I think those two are so iconic for such different reasons that I feel like their star power alone is enough to generate interest around this show.
Yeah, I would totally agree. I mean, I would fully agree with that. I agree that both of those characters have really transcended beyond the realm of the Muppets. What I think is so distinctly cool about Piggy is that even though Piggy absolutely has been this celebrity and she is such a icon in all these spaces, like like Sabrina Carpenter being on this special and specifically interacting with Piggy is because Piggy has become such an iconic diva in all of the spaces of people who would like that kind of music and all that. I think though that Piggy is like even though she has like become this massive star and so like become a celebrity within her own right, I think she is still so distinctly associated with the Muppets though, whereas Kermit is like associated with so many other big things, Disney, Henson, all of that. Like when Piggy shows up to the like it like when they do the game awards and stuff, it's like Rolf and Piggy and like Statler and Waldorf and all of that. It's like when Piggy, I think she has become the de facto representative of the Muppets. Like when the Muppets are doing shit, it's kind of like Piggy is the representation and the one that they put towards for all of those things. Like when it's the ball drop at the end of the year for New Year's, like Kermit probably is the most famous and most popular Muppet, but Piggy, like yes, she's a celebrity in her own right, but it's like when someone watches Piggy at the ball drop, I think it's not just like, oh my God, Miss Piggy is there. It's like, remember the Muppets? Like Piggy, she's from the Muppets. I love the Muppets.
I think
Like
that's an excellent point. I think that's a really strong point, especially considering so much of the Muppets marketing is around Piggy. Because like obviously
mhm.
Kermit's iconic, but in even in things like the Rock and Roller Coaster where like Miss Piggy really has no reason to be there, they still keep her at the forefront because it's like we're still featuring Piggy. For
I
the
think
promotion of Rob Lake Magic, the whole thing was like they did a whole big campaign was that Miss Piggy was making her Broadway debut, and they made a whole big deal in the show about Piggy showing up. I think that because like Kermit is obviously like he doesn't need the Muppets to be popular
yeah.
anymore. But I feel like Piggy has become a good like front runner for representing the Muppets, and I would argue that very strongly,
Can
especially
I
considering that there's so much nauseating discourse still around Kermit the Frog. I would argue that Piggy is probably a safer for Disney front runner for them to go
yes.
for, and having her be having it be a very Piggy like Piggy adjacent guest for to launch this new Muppet Show, I think is absolutely genius.
I think 2 points I want to make super quick here because I totally agree with you. One, I think I had a moment recently that speaks to Piggy's star power. I said in the last episode, I saw Muppet Christmas Carol live at the Symphony here in Seattle. And a distinct moment that happened is that for all the other characters when they made their appearance on screen, nobody like cheered like that. But the moment Piggy came on screen and turned around and like showed herself to the audience, the whole symphony lost their fucking minds. Like they were going nuts, hooting and hollering over Piggy. That to me speaks to how much of a icon and a diva she has become. But two, I think obviously it's like I'm not. Will and I are not trying to make this podcast a like Kermit voice discussion podcast. Like that's not what we're
That's
trying to
not
do.
the topic of discussion here.
Like
I merely wanted to bring it up because
no, but I
unfortunately talking about the Muppets is a frequently brought up conversation.
no, but I agree with you that the reason that I think it was a good thing that you brought it up here is because like I think Will and I absolutely fall, and I don't mean to speak for Will, but I think we both fall into the camp of like obviously like no voice is going to be like Jim's voice, and we're excited for this special and just we want to support and give our love and just like really show excitement for this thing where yes it's like nothing like things change. I made this whole point at the start of the podcast about change being this like good beautiful thing, but even with that nuance, whenever like this special is dropped, whenever new Muppet things are happening, so much of the discourse from the general public is immediately like, why does Kermit sound like this? When you click on the new Muppet Show special, that's like half the comments is like, why does Kermit sound like this? So I think Piggy, like it seems like she is the focus of this special. And it seems like to me that is a super, super safe option because it's like I think Matt does like a stellar job. I really do think that like there's so much talent there and that like he has proven himself to be an extremely talented puppeteer. But focusing it on Piggy, where like it's just so much love there. People just like literally adore Piggy. People like when people hear Piggy's voice, they don't go, where's Frank Oz? Like that doesn't sound fucking anything like the original. Like no, it's like very, and she does sound so like Eric Jacobson's Piggy does sound a lot different than Frank Oz's, but Piggy is just transcended, becomes so iconic and a diva in so many big ways that I really do think like people aren't even thinking of that with Piggy. So to make her the focus and to make a, as Will said, a star, bringing the first person on as a very Piggy adjacent star, really I think is a safe option by Disney. And again, I'm not trying to turn this into a whole like fucking Matt Vogel voice discussion. We're
No.
very excited for this fucking special and we're very excited for this entire thing and all the effort that was put in by everyone at Muppet Studios. But yeah, I think there is a point to be made about just the public's reaction and the way it seems like they're already trying to circumnavigate that.
I think the thing that I'm feeling the most about this new Muppet Show, as I said, I think really feel like we're on the cusp of a new era, and I think one of the biggest mistakes that Disney's made with the Muppets, because obviously we talk about this discourse with Matt, he's really not been a front runner. Kermit has not been a front runner in any Muppet project that's come out in the last 10 years, and so I feel like because obviously having a very piggy centered like launch for this new Muppet Show is a good idea because it brings skeptics in. But I want this to usher in a new era because I am in kind of an era of acceptance about Vogel's Kermit now. I've been resistant in the past, but I'm in an era where I want to move forward with it because I want to be feeling positive towards the Muppets. I feel like being critical about something that you love is probably the biggest way to express that you love it. But it at a certain point, it gets to a point where you're just rehashing nauseating discourse that does nothing for anybody. And I'm at a point now where as long as we get so as long as we are able to see that he's got the spirit of Kermit down, which, as I said, he's not really been given the platform to do. I'm excited for Kermit to take a bit more of a leading role. I want to see him play the character, and I'm excited. I'm going in with an open mind and an open heart. But I think, as you said, having Piggy take a bit more of sort of like a leading stance in the marketing for it is a good idea to bring in skeptics, and it's a chance to prove folks wrong. It's a chance to show us what you got for this new era of the Muppets, and I myself am very excited by that prospect. But obviously, you've got the iconic characters down because you got Piggy, you got Kermit. There's folks like Fozzie and Gonzo. Like, obviously, you got all the big hitters. But I think one of the things that makes me the most excited about this show is like, and they teased it during Muppet 70, but we really got a chance to see in like the teaser and like in the sort of like build up that we're getting now just how much they're reviving of lesser known characters, lesser iconic characters, but ones that are still very beloved by our little pocket. Because I think the trend started with, I want to say it was Gaffer the Cat was the first look we got at a new build for a classic Muppet Show character. I want to say
I
it was Gaffer.
I think it was Gaffer. And I think what is, as Will said, so fucking exciting about this special is seeing so many obscure Muppet characters, background Muppets, Muppets that, you would not expect them to rebuild. It seems they have rebuilt them and they're coming back. Like, I think one of the hesitations that people had in regards to whether or not Disney would make a new Muppet show is like there's that acknowledgement that Muppet projects do take so much like labor, man hours, construction to build all of the puppets within that. Like it took so much, and there were so many one-off puppets that were only seen like once, twice, a few times that costed a shit ton of money to make. It's a huge undertaking to make something that is fully practical effects and fully puppetry and all of that. And so for at least for me, I can't speak for the entirety of the community, but dude, for me, seeing something like Gaffer and seeing all of and now seeing this trailer where so many Muppets have been brought back, ones that you would never have thought that they'd rebuild, it's like, okay, not only does that speak to the effort and love that's going into the special, but two, it's like, oh shit, that's like this is insane. This is like so many characters that like that's what is important to the world of the Muppets is to make this world feel lived in and to feel like it's like a real fucking thing. That was so I love it. I'm so excited.
Because obviously, like, I think Gaffer was the first look that we got at a new build, and it's like, oh my goodness, that's a crazy deep cut of a Muppet to completely rebuild for a new special. But then you got ones like George the Janitor looks like a new build, Mildred Huckstetter, you got Wayne and Wanda, the Beautiful Day Monster. Goodness, who else is in there? I want to
Miss
say
Mousy, who
Miss
was like
Mousy.
last prominently featured in the fucking Valentine's show
Oh,
pilot. Like
because
what?
I don't think it would be a far cry to say that characters like Hilda would make a comeback.
Yeah.
You got Frackle because we got Frackles coming back. Looks like new builds for the mutations and for
It seems
Thog. Um,
they rebuilt Thog. He's like normal sized again. They accidentally made him too big in 2011. They seems like they fixed Thog.
but like obviously there's so many like deep cut characters that are coming back. But there are two. There are two in particular that excite me because they're pretty significant. And it's not just because they got new builds, but they are two iconic Muppet characters that we are welcoming a new core member of the puppeteering cast to play them. I think we would be remiss if we didn't bring up the fact that Bean fucking Bunny and Rizzo the fucking Rat are back and on the Muppet Show.
Holy shit, guys! This is like the people, non-Muppet fans, people that I don't know, people in my life here in Seattle that don't even fuck with the Muppets were texting me, being like, "Rizzo is back, dude." This is the most significant like thing that has happened for Muppet fans in so long. To
Like
have two
this is
characters
quite possibly one of the biggest things to happen in a decade for the Muppets.
like I think like that is so true. I think I absolutely agree. This is one of the biggest Muppet moments that have happened in like a decade here. Oh, like Rizzo specifically, like Rizzo, such an important character. The Muppets, still one of the most popular Muppet characters for everyone. Like so prominently featured in Christmas Carol, Treasure Island, Muppets from Space, all of the '90s Muppet movies. Like people, every fucking millennial I know loves Rizzo. He's so associated with like '90s Muppet movies. And then when Steve Whitmire, that after that whole situation played out with Whitmire, Rizzo disappeared. And even before all that, Rizzo like was not even featured in the 2011 movie. They just didn't really write roles for him. And Bean Bunny hasn't been around even before that. Like it's been so long since we've
Obviously,
seen Bean.
there's the big urban legend about Bean Bunny, which makes me a little bit heartbroken every time I think about it. That he literally went so unused that he like melted away into scrap. Oh my goodness, I'm not confident enough to say that it was like absolutely unequivocally true, but like oh my God, the fact
So
that there we now have a non-scrap, a non-withered, we have got we have got full-fledged, functional, performed being with a voice. Oh my
the
goodness. And a
reason
great voice, by the way. And a great voice for Rizzo because, oh my
amazing.
goodness, what an undertaking to take on such legacy characters. And again, we would be remiss if we did not shout out Bradley Freeman Jr.
Yes.
because, oh my goodness, that's got to be like a weight to be able to take on like iconic characters like that and with the world watching because like Rizzo, as you said, is so huge, but like two Muppet people. Bean is so beloved, especially since we've been going through Bean withdrawals for so many years.
From Muppet
And
Vision
obviously
especially.
because you've got like all of that sort of like tumultuousness that came with the previous performer because like it's such a oh my goodness, such a twist and turn of events for like not just Muppet people, but even like non-Muppet people who I don't know about, like the Whitmire situation. Genuinely, like not to make any grand, bold statements, but Bean and Rizzo's new voice, from what we've heard of them from like the little social media videos that they have done with Bean and Rizzo, I'm willing to say that in terms of sound alike, I want to say this has been one of the best like Muppet handovers since Jacobson took on Fozzie and since Beretta took on Teeth and Ralph.
Yeah, I think the point that I really want to stress here is that like Bradley Freeman Jr. is so damn talented. Somebody who we have seen do incredible puppetry work. This person has like really proven themselves as someone who's not only passionate about the Muppets, but really is someone who has the career and the talent to play iconic characters like Rizzo and Bean. I think his voices sound phenomenal. I really think that Bradley Freeman Jr. is somebody that I'm excited to see in Muppet projects in the future. I think he's someone that brings a lot of cool perspective to a Muppet project. And I guess for me, like what is so significant about Bean being recast, like Bean to me represents the last era of Henson, where Henson in the like late '80s, early '90s was still alive right before he passed, where Bean was prominently featured in like Muppet Vision 3D. And he was being like the story about Bean goes is that Jim was getting a little tired of Kermit kind of being used as like the Mickey Mouse, the like the freaking SpongeBob of the company. He wanted to kind of pull Kermit away from the commercialism of everything happening, and he wanted to kind of just put in a character that could represent all of that of the Henson Company. And that's where Bean came out of. Like Bean was specifically designed to be cute and to be a character that people could glob onto that wasn't Kermit. But we know that Jim Henson passes away, and Bean, like the last real role that Bean has is like Muppets Christmas Carol. It's been like he was this character that was going to be used to represent the whole future of what Jim wanted out of the Muppets. and then he passes, and then Bean kind of goes away because the kind of like what Bean was supposed to do was pretty reliant off of Henson. So for me to see Bean Bunny recast is so significant because it feels like they're really acknowledging like that this character, like, just because Jim passed doesn't like it kind of felt like they just gave up on, like, we have no idea what to do with Bean. But Bean is, as Will said, becomes such a popular character within Muppet fans. He's become so popular because of Muppet Christmas Carol and because of Muppet Vision 3D. People think of Bean as being so associated with the Muppets. To see him return, I think that really shows like a we're like we're in a new era, and we're picking up a piece that Jim put down, and we're pricking that back up, and we're bringing it back to the forefront, and that's really fucking cool to me. Like, I just think that's amazing.
And it's like this. It feels like like everything that's special about the Muppet Show is this sort of like acknowledgement of modern culture, and it's this respect for the past and this sort of love and reverence for the past, but sort of this idea that we're sort of like going into a new era. It's this sort of combination of past, present, and future for the Muppets that genuinely like makes this impending special so incredibly exciting. There are so many people who I didn't know knew anything about the Muppets who have been approaching me about this, being like, "Oh my goodness, I'm so excited for this." And as I said, like I'm having a bunch of people IRL over to have like a big physical in-person party
Same.
to watch it. And I know a lot of people who are hosting online watch parties, and it's like this really feels like a special moment, especially at a special time to be a Muppet fan. And so for the Muppet Show special, that's something that we have incredibly high hopes for, and it's something that I think is going to be one of the highlights of Muppet stuff in 2026.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the special is going to be great. I obviously we don't have that much info on it yet. We've seen a teaser. I think the teaser that we saw speaks really cool volumes to where the head direction of the Muppets are going. Like, we got like the characters that have been brought back, like George the janitor has been brought back. Like, that's like a season 1, season 2 character that pretty much got replaced by Beauregard. The fact that they're bringing him back is like, oh wow, they really went back and looked at like characters from the first few seasons.
And we
Miss
still got
Mouse,
Beauregard.
we still got Beauregard. They can exist at the same time. Miss
Pretty cool.
Mousy, as I brought up before, really was like last time when she was prominently featured was the Valentine's show. Like, that shows to me that the people at Muppet Studios really went through the kind of history and line of Henson and went through and found characters worth putting in as like background puppets. And it speaks also to me to the kind of attitude that Henson and Muppet performers used to have, where Jim would just kind of be like, yeah, grab whatever from that box and just do it in the background while we're doing this scene. All of these characters, these like obscure Muppets that have been featured in this new trailer and everything, that's the same attitude to me. That it was kind of like Muppet Studios going to the performers and the puppet builders and being like, yo, just find like crazy background characters that you fuck with and put it in the special. And now we're getting people like, oh my God, there's Miss Mousy, there's Wayne and Wanda. What the heck? Like, to me, it feels like they're going about it with a similar attitude to the how the original Muppet Show went. And that's cool as hell to me. To see a Frackle performing with Sabrina Carpenter, it could have just been like Fozzie. Could have been like Fozzie or Gonzo, but it's a damn Frackle. Like that to me really speaks to like, okay, shit's happening in 2026 for the Muppets. Like, we're getting like there's an acknowledgement from Disney that feels like they recognize that there's a large enough community of Muppet fans who are going to watch this and be excited over something like a Frackle interacting with Sabrina Carpenter.
People still
And
fuck
they
with Mo Frackle in this day and age.
Mo Frackle mentioned, like, they recognize there's a community of people who will freak out over seeing Miss Mousy and George the janitor in a Frackle and all of those things. And they recognize that someone like Sabrina has crazy star power. It's like, it feels like there's acknowledgement across the board. I also want to bring up that, like, we haven't really talked about it. Seth Rogen is also like
Oh yeah,
executive.
we just glossed over this. I'll be honest with you. Seth Rogen's been kind of on a roll lately, and there's a lot of people who are like, "Oh, I don't know how I feel about Seth Rogen being involved with this." I feel like you've not been keeping up with his recent stuff. He's been
Yeah.
on a roll in terms of producer because he's been producing some really good stuff. I want to say he's a producer on The Boys, which is an incredibly popular and incredibly like sharp satirically show. I want to say he also produces Invincible, which is like a pretty bold take on the superhero genre. He's currently producing a Figment movie or trying to get a Figment movie off the ground. That's for the Disney park enjoyers. He's trying to do a
Excellent.
reboot of Darkwing Duck, which is one of the best shows on the Disney afternoon. And I want to say it's called The Studio, this show he's been doing recently, this comedy series.
Yes.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And I don't know. I feel like having Seth Rogen being involved as a producer in this is a lot more of a good thing than the average person would think that it is.
I think that like, you don't have to love everything that Seth's made. You don't have to agree
Oh,
with
he's had
like
some stinkers.
he's
Like
he's had some stinkers.
the live action Lion Kings, just to name his recent stuff, Chip and
I
Dale Rescue Rangers movie, like he's been in some bad stuff.
He's been in some bad stuff. I think like my the point I want to make with Seth is that like you don't have to like everything he's been in. You don't have to agree. He really does, I think, to a lot of people represent that like late 2000s buddy comedy kind of guy who just like I think a lot of people see Seth Rogen involved and they're going to be like, "Oh my god, is he just going to be making fart jokes, smoking weed and saying the R word? Like is that like what is going to be happening with this Muppet special?" Like I understand some hesitation around a character like Seth Rogen. For me, I fall into the camp that I think he, as Will pointed out, has done a lot of really cool, talented things in recent years. I would say that I generally do enjoy a fair amount of the things that he's been in. And I think to me, what is significant about Seth Rogen being involved is that like I'm a big fan of the stuff that Seth has produced and the stuff that Seth has wrote. I really think that they in having someone like Seth involved, somebody who like is very like choosy with their projects. It seems like yes, they'll do a thing like Disney's live action Lion King, and they'll do like Rescue Rangers and stuff. But they also are doing a shit ton of things currently that it feels like so picky, choosy stuff that they're only doing because they're putting in like a ton of passion for it. That seems very specific with the Muppet Show. It feels, I think, if it really was just like all right, let's just throw Seth Rogen on to get all the fucking bros to watch this thing. Like, no, they would have been pushing Seth way
Yeah.
harder in the
He would have
marketing.
been the
I think,
guest if it was just
yeah,
like the Muppet Show just for like people who enjoy like Hot Tub Time Machine and shit. Like, nah. They would have put
like no,
Seth at the forefront. And the fact that he's taking on like a more production role, he's definitely gonna like have a kind of feature in it because he's showed up in the trailer. But he's got a clear passion for it, and I think that's gonna shine through, and I'm very excited for his involvement. It just seems like there's a lot of passionate folks on board. There's a lot of people in like a lot of great people in production roles that I think are going to kill this. But to move on from the Muppet Show, because I feel like we have covered the Muppet Show a good amount. To move on to something that is a little bit less of a sure thing, that again has some pretty big like names in sort of like the production element of it. But we're actually yet to get an official confirmation from Disney, and I think until we do, I'm not willing to say that this is a thing that's definitely going to happen.
yeah.
But I would be lying if I said that the concept of the Piggy movie didn't interest me. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued, but I'm skeptical.
I think for me, like if people aren't aware, Jennifer Lawrence and Cole Escola, and who was the last person involved? And
Emma
Emma
Stone,
Stone.
my Shayla.
They they have all rumored on last I think okay, so on Bowen Yang's podcast, they have made a huge push on like Piggy being like an icon in the diva and really emphasizing the points that we were making earlier about Piggy being like this iconic character. Emma Stone
It
and
was
Jennifer
Jennifer
Lawrence.
Lawrence broke it first.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying like Jennifer Lawrence was on there, but Emma Stone and Jennifer Lawrence have together made it seem like they are putting together a Piggy movie where they are writing and directing and producing with Cola Scola from freaking Hey Mary.
Oh,
Uh,
Mary, I think it was.
oh Mary, I'm not a Broadway person besides Rob. I don't Broadway besides Rob Lake Magic. But Cola Scola, Emma Stone, Jennifer Lawrence, the three of them have kind of made it seem like they are making a Piggy movie, a movie about Miss Piggy, an origin story about her, a kind of background as to what Piggy. We haven't really gotten much info on it, but they have gotten together and said like that's what we're making. And I think for me, I'm not like, I'm excited because an idea of that sounds cool, but we just haven't gotten any confirmation. So like, I am so hesitant before I could even like form excitement
Well, I
about
mean, my hope is that this big push for like people's interest in the Muppets, and like I think it's going to be a snowball effect with the Muppet Show doing well. I think it's if we really get across a renewed interest in the Muppets, I feel like Disney will take chances on like feature events like a Piggy movie. My worry is that they seem to be doing more of a word of mouth campaign than like a proper like because I like yeah. I don't know, just like talking about it on podcasts and in one-off like red carpet interviews and stuff. It just I don't know, it doesn't scream official to me because I feel like they would have if it was a thing that was happening at Disney, they definitely would have brought it up during Piggy Week.
it. I just think that Disney would have acknowledged it in some capacity. I
Hopefully
do
they will. If this is a word of mouth campaign, it's working because people are talking about it. We're talking about it.
I think
So
the point I really want to stress in regards to this Piggy movie is that whether or not we have official confirmation that this is happening or not, what it should speak to is the general public's excitement over Miss Piggy. That the fact that this thing is just rumored, the fact that there has been quite literally nothing from Disney talking about this, but people are fucking excited about it. People, I work at like I'm a bartender. I've had so many people come up to my bar and be like, Max, have you heard a Piggy movie? And I'm like, yes, bitch, I have heard. And it's like to me, that speaks volumes so that Piggy is a massive star and people would want that it's like beyond just Muppet fans wanting the Muppets back is that the excitement over a Piggy movie has been massive and it's been massive from the general public.
yeah, well, people are taking it as gospel because it is a wanted thing. There's it's not been just sort of like brushed off quietly. People been like, oh yeah, I'm doing a Piggy movie, and people being like, oh that's cool. No, you've captured people's attention with this, and if it's a word of mouth campaign, Loki genius. Because like
Yeah.
you're because like it's hard to pitch to a boardroom like, hey, let's do a Miss Piggy movie when they're like, oh no, the Muppets aren't really profitable right now because you're not doing anything with them.
Because
But
you haven't capitalized off of it.
if we're starting to do stuff with the Muppets, like the Muppet Show, like a lot of the new Muppet projects, and there's a good public word of mouth, it makes projects like this more likely to happen. So if it's actually a thing happening at Disney, could they say so? And if it's word of mouth, Disney make it happen. That's my sort of stance on the Piggy movie, and I will kind of decline to say anything concrete about it until we know that it's gonna happen. I have wants and desires. Obviously, I'm a big Piggy enjoyer. I have wants and desires, but I'm not willing to go ill or go all in on the concept yet until we hear some solid numbers.
I think that my hope around this is that I agree with Will is that like it's not official enough for me to make any like distinct concrete assessments on the Piggy movie or even the concept for it. But what I hope happens with this is that Disney sees the response, the cultural response for people being like, holy shit, we want a Piggy movie for all of the reasons that above, all the reasons above that we have listed of Piggy being iconic and a diva and representing so beyond the Muppets while also being a fantastic representation for the Muppets. Like, what I hope is that they see that response and go, oh shit, people really want this. Like, people really want this Piggy movie and I hope it gets made. And like we don't have anything concrete about it, but as we said at the start of the podcast, this is a year where there's like actually more than just one. Like there's a ton of confirmed Muppet projects happening. Is this the time maybe we go on to freaking rock and roller coaster retheme? Maybe?
Man, I think it's a big thing that's happening this year. Obviously, when you look at it, it's very kind of like it was a weird time when we got that news because it
Yeah.
almost felt like I don't know, it felt like you had just been like pushed over on the ground and you'd scrape both your knees and and also you were holding an ice cream that you had dropped. That's how it felt losing Muppet Vision. But
It
in the
felt
same blow, being like, "Don't worry,
it felt like I got put, as Will just described, it feels like I just got pushed into the mud. My ice cream spilled everywhere. My knees scraped. I'm like, what are you doing to me?
why
And
would
the
you do?"
person who pushed me
Like,
is like, all
here's the
right,
thing.
get up. I got you a Klondike bar.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
gonna say I got you a slightly melted ice cream bar.
I got you ice cream. It's not as good, but I got you some ice cream again. So
It's
shut up.
fine. Get over it. You're gonna be okay.
Like I, you know, with Muppet Vision closing, it was a huge emotional thing for the Muppet community. And Will made a point that I really liked earlier in the podcast about how there's a huge difference between the closure of other legacy rides at Disney than Muppet Vision. There has not been this same response for a ride like Dinosaur that has been around almost an equal amount of time and has been something that is so nostalgic for so many people. There's been not this like response for it. And like I think like for us, what was so emotional is that like this was Jim Henson's final project. This was the last thing that he worked on before he passed. Arguably one of the last, like probably the last major thing Richard Hunt worked on before Richard Hunt passed. Like this went so beyond just being like a Disney ride that some people care about. That's why it was so packed on the last day. Disney fans didn't pack the house like that. It was like Muppet fans. And so I think at the time, with how emotional this closing was, a lot of people saw that as just like, you took away Jim Henson's final fucking project and you're giving me Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith? What?
It's a double-edged sword, this whole situation, and I feel a strange type of way about it.
Oh
But
my.
I think we are in the position now where like every day we get new updates that a new beloved part of Muppet Vision has just been fucking bulldozed. So it's like it's gonna be what it's gonna be. My belief now is to kind of take the good from what we can get. And I'm gonna say it's not gonna be Muppet Vision, but I think there are things to look forward to with the Rock and Roller Coaster. Few things in particular, the things that hit hard for me. I know for a fact that coaster's got a merch shop. I my wallet's not gonna be happy about it, but I want a Muppet gift shop. I want them to have to start making more Muppet stuff to sell so that
We used to have the Muppet stuff freaking gift shop back in the day, but they took that from us. I agree with you. I hope that whatever Muppet gift shop they have, they just bring all the shit from the old one. Like they used to have a recreation of the Happiness Hotel lobby and the lockers from Muppets Take Manhattan. It's like I feel like Disney could easily move all of that stuff over there. I think my attitude is like, yes, I'm upset that Muppet Vision is closed. We're all upset that Muppet Vision is closed. It was Jim Henson's final project. But like, as the emotions have settled and I've just gone back to my daily life and I've been living my life, I have just been excited as hell for this Rock and Roller Coaster retheme. Like we're not, and I should probably explain to people who don't know, Rock
oh
and
yeah.
Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith is a looping roller coaster originally made by designed by Vekoma for Disney. And it's a looping ride. There's a pre-show where Steven Tyler and all the Aerosmith members are like, we got to get to the theater. We're going to be late for our show. And then you speed through Hollywood on a limousine. This new retheme takes that original concept of the Aerosmith, where instead of Aerosmith trying to get to a show, it's Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem.
All right.
All right. It's Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem, and instead of like Aerosmith's manager trying to get them to the thing, it's Scooter and Kermit and the Penguins. And it takes the original concept of this looping roller coaster that is supposed to be a limousine trying to speed to a Hollywood thing, takes that exact same concept and just makes it Muppets. So I just wanted to explain that for people who didn't know this thing was happening.
It's an excellent explanation, to be fair, and something I completely neglected to do. So, because like it's something that was very vague when it was announced. It was just like the Electric Mayhem are going to be doing Rock and Roller Coaster, and it's like, what's that going to entail? Well, we've had details after details come out, and so what everything that we know about it. Unfortunately, it's going to be a bold departure from Muppet Vision. Especially, I have my feelings about it. I personally think that it was probably not the most incredibly well thought out thing. I think because obviously their Aerosmith, like their contract with Aerosmith is up, and they need like a good thing to put in the Rock and Roller Coaster. You could get another band, sure, but arguably like a rock band that's like as like timeless as Aerosmith was a better shout. But now you've got a lot of angry, upset Muppet fans and no Muppet representation in your park anymore. So it's like put the Muppet Band in there because we just did a show that we cancelled about the Muppet Band. People love the Muppet Band. They love it so much that we cancelled the show. But sorry, I'll get off of that in a minute. But
Real.
yeah, it was just kind of like, not sure how we feel about this. But now we're getting to see that there's a little bit of a story around it because now Scooter's uncle JP Gross now owns the record company. The
Holy
sort of like the
shit.
lore of the show is themed around. Scooter now runs the studio and is like, oh my God, fulfilling an incredibly long prophecy, by the way, because they shoehorned Scooter in to 1979's The Muppet Movie as the Electric Mayhem's road manager, a role that we don't actually see him do anything for except say that he is the road manager, and forever have him associated with the Electric Mayhem for not really doing anything, which I think is really funny because they needed to put Scooter in the movie because he was definitely going to be like, oh, gee, my uncle, who's like paying for the production, wouldn't like if I wasn't in the movie.
Oh,
Oh,
geez,
God.
boss, you gotta put me in this.
Well, gee, I guess I don't have a role in the movie, boss. Okay, you can be the role manager. But
Oh,
having Scooter fulfill this like decades long prophecy of him being like the coordinator for the mayhem, of him being like the one wrangling the mayhem, it's just that's a beautiful moment for Scooter fans everywhere. Like
holy shit. I
he's
could
getting
not
an
agree.
animatronic, like absolute cinema. Absolute cinema.
Scooter animatronic is one of the best Muppet announcements that we've gotten in so long. Because they could have just done like I think like not to just bring up Rob Lake in every single discussion I have about the Muppets were the last of the real ones. They're the last of the real ones. I think a lot of people really turned off with the Rob Lake show because half the time the Muppets are on screens. Like the joy of seeing the Muppets is like you want to see it puppeteered or you want to see at least the closest equivalent to that. Like we look at the Muppets on screens all the time. People don't want to have a FaceTime call with the Muppets. I think getting a new build articulated Scooter animatronic, like I'm sure there's gonna have screen shit like Kermit in the concept art is on a screen, but like that is a huge, huge big thing to get. That is where I think we're going to feel the magic so fucking hard is that we're going to see Scooter, we're going to see him moving around, and it's gonna be mind blowing to see a Muppet come to life again. We haven't gotten a new Muppet animatronic in so long, and seeing a Muppet move around and everything, it's gonna be beautiful. And I specifically want to make a point about animatronics is that like there's been a ton of discussion around animatronics recently because of the amazing Defunctland two-part documentary series about animatronics and like living creatures and all of those things. I think the Muppets are some of the best characters to make as animatronics for two reasons. One, because like they're only from like the neck up most of the time. Like it's like basically a hand operating everything. You don't have to like Defunctland makes the point that they don't have to like articulate as many things with a puppet like that. But two, the Muppet, the part of the magic and what people feel comes from the Muppets is watching them move around, is watching those things speak and talk and everything. And that is already something that gives people so much joy and excitement. So I think Disney, by making a Scooter animatronic, is just like tripling down on all of that. They're like, oh, Muppets are not only easier to build, like easier to make as animatronic. They convey so much magic. They convey so much like just like artistry, everything. I think making a Scooter animatronic is one of the smartest fucking things that Disney has done in a while. Beyond Muppet shit, Scooter animatronic is one of the best decisions they've made.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just there's a lot about this ride that just like it seems like they're putting in a little bit more effort than we had previously assumed. Obviously, it's just going to be a retheme, and we now understand that the roller coaster is going to be effectively the same. It's going to be a super powered limousine, which there's hint to a Muppet Labs involvement. I'm
Yes.
excited about that. And there's going to be going through Hollywood, but like it's been ransacked by the Muppets. It's gonna be like Muppetified Hollywood, which is that's pretty cool. But
Can
like
I Oh,
You
I
want to say
just wanted
something?
to
Go ahead.
say I have my crazy bold prediction for this ride. Like I have my prediction for this that everyone can listen to this and be like, Max, you're a fucking idiot. That's not going to happen. I totally understand that. Please take this prediction with the largest grain of salt. But when I heard that there was Muppet Labs involvement in the Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Electric Mayhem, to me, to me, since it feels like there's a lot more effort going on. Obviously, we just made the point that they're not like changing the track on the ride, they're just changing the theme around it. They have had those Muppet Labs, freaking Muppet Mobile Lab, Bunsen and Beaker sitting around for so long. How fucking easy would it be for before they do the launch and everything to kind of just stick those Bunsen and Beaker in as like a stationary part of the ride, just being like, we have made the limousine with Muppet Labs rocket technology to get you to the theater. And it's Bunsen and Beaker just kind of like standing there that send you in. They have
Can't
the
do that
fucking
to me.
animatronics.
You can't give me
They
that
could do
hope.
it.
You can't do that to me. You cannot put that hope in me.
Like we heard there's going to be more animatronic than just Scooter. And we don't, and if they're just reusing Muppet animatronics, they have more than just the penguins.
Okay, well here's where I start to get a little bit conspiratorial now. Here's where I start to get a little bit tinfoil hat. Because obviously, like, I have feelings about, like, one of my big feelings that I have about the Rock and Roller Coaster is that I think it's a bit of a step backwards in terms of having Muppet fans because it's not very accessible.
Yes. Yes.
Kids, little kids who, like, are a big part of the Muppets audience are not going to be able to go on this roller coaster. Disabled folks are not going to be able to go on this roller coaster. Folks with nervous dispositions are not going to be able to go on this roller coaster. And they're not going to be able to experience a Muppet attraction at the Disney parks, which
Yeah.
the incredibly accessible Muppet Vision 3D was something that literally anybody could go into. And so that's why I feel like it's a bit of a misstep having that be the only Muppets representation in the parks,
I
which leads me to my big tinfoil hat moment. I think that this ride needs to usher in a Muppet Courtyard 2.0. Get that
uh
fucking villain show out of that theater.
easy,
Put it in the villain park when you make it. That's
bro.
Muppet Theater 2. That's bringing back Muppet Vision. That's a whole Muppet Courtyard. Put the fucking fountain back. Put all of that shit back. Rebuild it back the way that it was. This is how we win. I'm sorry. I
Build
know
back
it's literally a
better.
pipe dream. I know it's a pipe dream. But come on.
Like,
Like, you have a Muppet gift shop again. You have a ride. That's something that Jim wanted. He wanted a Muppet ride. Bring
like,
back Muppet Vision
yo,
3D. You've kept all the shit. Just remake the animatronics. Keep all of the audio. You've got the reels still, surely. Like you've got rid of all the Pizza Rizzo chairs and stuff. That's okay. We don't have to have Pizza Rizzo. I think having like a little like one of the little booths like you know what I mean? One of the tiny food stands, having
yeah.
a tiny to go pizza place, be a little like a Pizza Rizzo pop up. That would be fun. But then you've got a new Muppet Courtyard. You have Bunsen and Beaker roaming around again. You have the Sweetums meet and greet. You have like puppet meet and greets. I'm sorry, but this is how we win. This is how we get Muppet Courtyard 2.0.
I
It's not gonna happen, but I really wanted to. I really wanted
you
to.
know, I'm
Sorry.
tinfoil hatting so hard. Obviously, I would want that so bad. Like the thought of getting a little Muppet courtyard back again would be insane. I think the logic makes sense where it's like we're getting a Muppet ride. There is a theater right there in the fucking rock and roller coaster area that's currently occupied by a villains thing. We're getting a whole villains land. So that show should just move over there and they can sit like I think where people run into an issue with this line of logic is that like they think that there's no way that they're going to rebuild the entirety of Muppet Vision with all of the effects and everything back. I think, dude, I know it
I think
wouldn't
that
be
they
the same.
should. That I think
And
that
they
they. I
should.
think.
I
I
know
think.
it wouldn't be the
Oh, they
same.
won't. They should though.
They
Morally.
should. But even my thing is that like even if it wouldn't be the exact same, and like even if they didn't build back all of like the same like effects that were in the original show, bro, just having a fucking theater that plays Muppet Vision 3D that even has like a minuscule amount of the effects that it used to have to like that would even fucking satisfy me. I think the point that we've made about accessibility is a really big one that I want to emphasize even harder here is that why Muppet Vision 3D was beautiful was beyond it just being a legacy of Jim Henson. It was And it's not like it's beyond what a lot of like Disney adults and Disney fans kind of saw it as, which is just like a place to go into when to get like air conditioning away from the heat and everything like that. I think what was beautiful about Muppet Vision was how accessible it is. Was that if you are somebody with disabilities of any capacity, if you are as a child who cannot handle the rides of all the rest of the things, like it's fully accessible for everyone. That like it was one of the most disability friendly attractions in the entire damn park. It's like it's one of those things where it's like in losing Muppet Vision, we are losing something that was beautifully meant for everyone, which is so what Jim wanted, which is what the Muppets represent. They represent the whole range of diversity of all people's differences. And like so many of the population who could have ridden Muppet Vision can't ride Rock and Roller Coaster. So I think that is like a huge loss in terms of like the Muppet stuff. So that is why, relating it back to the point that Will just made about a potential quote unquote Muppet courtyard, like that is like in losing an accessible thing, and all of these new concepts for Disney attractions that are coming out do not seem accessible for disabled people, for people with autism, for just any of that shit. Like the newer Disney projects don't, and it just put people with disabilities are always disregarded in planning and across the board for everything. The fucking least that Disney could do, or the least that like could happen, is like just a fucking like bringing back that even a little bit of accessibility. Fucking Muppet Vision, a little Muppet courtyard, an area that is like around these things that are so about diversity, so about representation, so about letting all of these people of all different backgrounds and all different like abilities enjoy this thing. Fuck! Disney, come on! Please! Please!
Like the most overstimulating thing about Muppet Vision 3D is just Waldo C graphic, and like we can stomach that.
I
Um,
get stuff like that. Bring back Waldo!
Bring back like I'm sorry, I can't like deal with the fact that Waldo's just been taken around the back of Pizzeria and shot in the head. I
Yeah,
can't deal with
they
that
did
because
that.
he's
We
got
were
no.
there for
You were there for that. You saw it happen. You were like, oh, damn, that's
I
brutal.
was like, Waldo! Waldo! As he was dying, bleeding on the animated pavement. It
As you were being
sucks.
dragged away by men in mice costumes.
Get
But like,
off of me!
but it's like, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like a Muppet Courtyard 2.0 would be something that would be a great byproduct of a renewed interest in the Muppets. Because like what happened during the last big Muppet Renaissance, they redid the whole front of Muppet Vision. They built a whole themed bathroom, a whole themed restaurant. They did a whole bunch of extra stuff. Like I'm sorry, but like doing that for a new revived era of the Muppets
Bro,
would be like it's just ushering in like ringing the
let's
bell again. That would
let's
be
say this fucking new special does really well. Let's say with the special does well, we get a green light on a new Muppet show. We get the Miss Piggy movie. Even if that doesn't happen, let's just say the special goes well. What if, dude, I truly think we are in an era where if it goes well enough, we could get shit like that. Where even if we don't get the entirety of a Muppets courtyard again, we'll get a renewed interest in the Muppets. And I think as the years play out, if this is successful and they actually capitalize off of it instead of dropping the ball and fumbling the bag like they did with 2011, we can get shit like Muppet Courtyard. We can get more big Muppet things. I don't care if I sound insanely naive right now. I am so confident in this special, and I am so confident that Rock and Roller Coaster will at least be like a successful ride. That like we'll get some shit back and we'll get some new shit. I'm excited.
I these are the two big things that I'm like, please. Please,
Please.
please, 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 please. Man, that would be really good. That would be really insane if we get like if just even then, I'm planning on going and doing it. I'm not a big roller coaster person. I will brave it. I will brave it. I will
I
do my best. I will be
this
clutching onto somebody's hand. Probably my boy
my
Michaela.
ears.
When we both get to go, I'll be clutching onto my boy Michaela's hand just to make sure that we both don't like cry our eyes out on the roller coaster because I don't know if either of us are big roller coaster people. I'm gonna
Here's
give
the
it a
thing.
go. I'm gonna give it a go.
I just want to say that I am going to cry the moment I see that the giant Aerosmith guitar has been rethemed and repainted to be tie-dye. And I cannot wait to hear, I don't care if it's like newer music, but Muppet courtyard adjacent music again. Because just hearing that ambient loop, just like, oh, satisfying to the brain. Like, I also think like, the point we made earlier about like legacy, the difference between Muppet Vision and other legacy rides leaving, like, yeah, a lot of people are nostalgic about Rock and Roller Coaster. Like, I have a lot of memories as a kid going to Rock and Roller Coaster, and that was one of my favorite rides growing up. But like, it is not the fucking same losing Aerosmith, losing that shit. Like, I just think that the Muppets being in the park are such like a positive thing that we're not really losing much with Rock and Roller Coaster being rethemed. We're only gaining where we lost a lot with Muppet Vision, but or at least we're gaining something out of the much less loss that was Rock and Roller Coaster, if that
I think
makes
it's
sense.
I think it's just the attitude. Could be worse. Could have nothing.
Yeah, man.
I think that's the vibe that we're going into this with.
I'll be
Um,
there. I'll be Disney. You better announce the opening day of Rock and Roller Coaster. I will make that shit happen.
I will give it my best. But in terms of other new Muppet stuff that we for sure know is happening this year, it's kind of slim pickings. Kind of slim pickings. The only other thing that I can think of that we definitely know for a fact that is on the cusp, we're on the cusp of, is a noir comic series, Muppets
Yeah.
Noir. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not like a big comic reader, but the concept interests me. Like I love when the Muppets do kind of like when they act like the Muppet players when they are playing
Yes.
characters because like obviously the Muppet Show is like a variety show, but a lot of the comedy comes from the Muppets being themselves. And we've kind of had a bit of a spotlight on like individual Muppets as characters, like we have with Muppets Mayhem. We got to learn a bit more about them. I want to see them like performing roles again. And even if it's just a comic series, a Muppets Noir will be fun. I think the best case scenario with it is if it meets the vibe. And Max, I know you're going to align with me on this one because I know this is a favorite of yours.
Oh
If
my
it
god.
aligns even a little bit with the Liza Minnelli episode of The Muppet Show, yeah, you knew I was going to
I
fucking
was
say that. You
about to
knew that's where I was
fucking
fucking
say
going.
it too. You're so on the money right now.
You know I love you. You know I'm looking out for you
Love
and your Liza
you.
Minnelli Muppet Show
Uh,
agenda.
Dude, I literally was about to say, like, if it's you took the words right out of my mouth that like the Muppets have done a noir style episode of the Muppet Show with Liza Minnelli, which is my personal favorite episode of the Muppet Show. I think the Muppets are perfect in a noir setting. This is gonna be great. I'm excited.
Like, obviously, if it was like a live action miniseries, that would be like, we're so fucking back absolute cinema. Because then you can get people like fucking like Martin Scorsese in it in like a cameo role. You can get like
James
fucking
Gandolfini Muppet Show.
just but like I am intrigued for this as a series, and I think if they get the writing similar to how the Muppets were written in like their sort of noir format, and you can even borrow elements from like arguably like one of the funnier moments in recent Muppet history is the stuff that they did with Sam Eagle and Ty Burrell in Muppet Most
Yes.
Wanted, even if you go a bit of a sillier angle like that, because it's like I think there's just some fun potential with this, and I would like. Obviously, if they sell it over here, I was lucky enough that they sold all of the variant Marvel comics over here. Only comics I've ever bought in my life, by the way. I'm a fake like superhero enthusiast. I'm not a big comic reader, but I bought all of the Marvel like Muppet variant comics. But like I would read a Muppet Noir series provided that they like have a little bit of fun with it. Something that I have actually been meaning to read because I've got them but I've not read them is some of the old like Muppet like comics. Like they've got
Yes.
like there's the Four Seasons ones and there's a Christmas one. There's one which I really do need to read, which is Skeeter's only other appearance outside of a Muppet Babies property, but like an aged up Skeeter, so she's the same age as Scooter. Like they did a comic about like Skeeter doing stuff with the Muppet Show, and like I think it's the same artists, but it's like I'm excited for it. I'd be up for like a fun little like Muppets doing roles series.
I think Muppets lend themselves really well to comic book format. I think we've just seen that. They've been doing comic book shit for decades. I think the Muppets are they it's like that's the reason I think the Simpsons comics are so successful.
Ugh.
These characters, you can throw them into a million different outlandish scenarios. I think that comics are a really good opportunity to just do the craziest, like absurd things with characters without it tainting the actual like storylines or the actual characterizations that happen in the shows and the movies and all that stuff. I just think a Muppet comic, you just can't really go wrong with that. That's like kind of been my opinion. Like, I am not really a superhero fan. And like when the Muppet Marvel stuff, like, I have a lot of opinions on whether or not, like, whenever I see people, and this is not the discussion I'm trying to have, but like, whenever I see people do like the whole, like, we should just make Muppet Marvel movies where Kermit's Iron Man and shit like that, I get so annoyed because I'm just like, no, like, the Muppets are
That's
so
okay.
beyond that kind of corporate slop. But a Muppet comic book where like Kermit played a superhero like that, I'm like, perfect. Boom. That's the exact format that you do something like that in. And I just think that like Muppet Show players, like the concept of them being a performing troupe and an acting troupe and everything, like I love that. I think it's something that's so great. But I just really, what I need right now and what I think the Muppets special is doing is like a return to form, a return to like, yes, they are actors that do all these other things, but this is like it feels like we're not trying to confuse anyone here. The Muppets are back on the Muppet Show and they're doing Muppet Show shit. Yeah, they've been college students. Yeah, they've been pirates. Yes, they've been Christmas Carol Dickens type shit. Like, but we're just back, bro. We're back to the original shit. We're not trying to confuse anyone. We're back.
We're back to fundamentals. But I think doing like a Muppet Noir comic, I think as you said, like we're desperately trying to rekindle people being on board with the Muppets, just like like in their fundamental selves. Once we get further down the line, we can start doing the Muppets doing stuff. But I think the idea of the Muppets using the comic format to parody like genre, I feel like that would be a really good idea because you can get away with that on a comic format because I feel like there's going to be a big like market for Muppet comics, but then also like if you want to get a bit more experimental, you can try it in a comic first, and then
Yeah.
we can start doing it with the live action stuff. Because I'll be honest with you, if they decided to tackle Muppet like fairy tales again in a comic format, I'll be up for it.
Muppets Go Medieval could absolutely exist in a fucking
They can
comic
have that.
format.
Also, I'm glad that you mentioned the Simpsons comics. I actually really fucked with those as a kid. I
It's good,
really
right?
fucked with the
And
Simpsons
like
comics. Like
I fucking
do a regular comic spot for the Muppets. Have them tackle genre in a sort of parody way, but like a
I
tasteful parody.
I totally agree with you. And I don't mean to divert the conversation away from the
Mm.
comics. I think in terms of Muppet things that we have, Will was right that there's not as many things left at the end of the year. There's been some merch things that have happened, like pins. There's like a whole
Ooh,
massive slate of Disney Parks Muppet pins that are coming out soon. There's Disneyland specific ones, there's Disney World specific ones for each park and different attractions. Really, really cool. And I think there's gonna be a lot of really cool shit with that. There's recently a Muppet Treasure Island mug that just came out at the parks that looks exactly or very much inspired, but from the cast and crew gift that they gave for Muppets Treasure Island.
I'm very glad you brought that up because I did want to talk about that cup and I wanted to talk
I
about
want to
that.
say
Oh,
that if we could do a brief discussion on the merch, because I definitely know Mupdates here has opinions on that. But the thing that I'm looking at my sheet of paper here for is because I just want it like the Muppet Show special has not been picked up as a full series. However, I have a few, just like I have like a list of 3 people that I would really, really love to see included on the Muppet Show if it does get fully revived. So, quick merch discussion, and
fuck the
then
merch. We're doing this because I got guest plans in my brain as well. We'll do three each. Let's fucking do it. Let's backtrack it like hell.
okay, we're backtracking. Okay, so as I just said, Muppet Show, like it hasn't been a full series yet. There's in terms of guests for the Muppet Show, that has always been a huge discussion from people. I'm not trying to be a dick and get like overly critical about like who people would want on the Muppet Show and stuff, but I think you got to be like really specific. I think the Muppets are very specific, and the guests that we got on in the past in the Muppet Show, it wasn't just anybody who was famous at the time. It's people who lend themselves to the absurdity, to the silliness, to everything going on with the Muppets. So if we want to do our back and forth picks, with the first pick in the Muppets 2026 Muppet Show revival, we have from Atlanta, Georgia, Zach Fox. Do you know Zach Fox?
This is really fucking embarrassing. I'm not familiar. I'm
Okay,
not
that's
familiar.
totally fine. Zach Fox is hilarious. They play Tariq on Abbott Elementary, but I have been a massive fan of Zach Fox forever. He is. I saw him DJ recently at the Crocodile here in Seattle. Fucking amazing show. But Zach Fox is a hilarious comedian, a hilarious musician. I mean, he is a hilarious comedian, a super talented writer, an extremely talented musician. I think Zach Fox, out of any celebrity that it currently stands here in 2025, I think he is the most equipped to be on a Muppet Show episode. I think Zach Fox's humor is so goddamn in line with Muppet Show projects. I think he's an experienced comedian across the board. I think he can absolutely hold his own. And he's a really talented musician. I really think Zach Fox, like we've seen him on Abbott Elementary, he stole the show being Tariq. So I think Zach Fox is if he is not featured as a Muppet Show guest, I will be upset because I think he is the number one best person to be involved in a Muppet project.
The second you said he was Tariq on Abbott, I immediately knew who he was.
There
I
we
didn't know
go.
him by name as an actor, but I really do like Abbott Elementary, and Tariq is so fucking funny. So I'm embarrassed. I'm sorry that I didn't know him by name.
Don't be
Fuck, that's actually
embarrassed, but
brilliant.
we can agree that he's amazing on Abbott, and I think he'd be really good on the Muppet Show.
That's kind of brilliant. That's kind of fucking what a heavy like what a heavy case you have made for pick one. Fuck, that's a tough act to follow. Fuck, I have a piece of paper here. Um that I have a few written down. I had like a list of like 15 because I like
Yeah,
written for a full season. And I'm gonna try to avoid the cheap shots.
same. I
Um
didn't do any of the cheap shots.
this is kind of I think a cheap shot. A little bit of a cheap shot, but it's still one that I stand by. Somebody who I think because like as you said, there is like a sort of embracing lately of sort of like especially for queer folks of the Muppets, especially in this sort of like diva icon status that Miss Piggy
Yes.
has taken. And I feel like somebody who could really align with that, but also would be so down to clown like with Muppet stuff, but would also like bring a level of like comedic performance to it that I think would be brilliant is Jinx Monsoon.
Yes.
I want Jinx Monsoon on the fucking Muppet Show.
That's like an undeniable perfect pick right there.
She's a
Jinx would be
fucking nerd. She was on Doctor Who and she loved it. She's a fucking nerd. She's an on-stage performer, a brilliant on-stage performer. She's clearly aligned with Piggy, but like she's three-quarters of the way to Muppet, let's be honest.
I could be wrong here. Hasn't Jinx Monsoon been involved in like wasn't Jinx the drag performer that was at that Muppet Christmas Carol thing they did where
That
like
was Nina
Matt
West.
Ogle.
That was Nina
That
West.
was Nina West. That was Nina West. Also someone who should be featured in like a
Nina
Muppet
West
project.
has done stuff like
Like they have done
did a
stuff with the
performance with the
Muppets.
Muppets. She
They
did a
were at
performance of Muppet
Rob
Christmas
Lake
Carol.
Magic featuring special guests the Muppets. They had an amazing scooter jumpsuit.
I want to say she has had like a little sing song with the Muppets doing Muppet Christmas Carol stuff.
Yeah.
She has been in all of like the Muppet like script projects. She's played Piggy
Bro,
multiple times in the live
Jinx.
like table readings and has fucking ate down every time. Honestly, that's another great pick for a potential guest. She's been already so like adjacent with the Muppets that it just like makes sense.
I agree with you fully.
So
I do
that's gonna
think
be
that
my joint first pick: Jinx Monsoon slash Nina West slash both of them.
I mean, literal Muppet drag episode, not to make it just like the drag performers have to share one episode, but like low key having the Muppet Show taken over by a bunch of drag art. That would eat so hard.
Cunt quake, like
A
come
cunt
on,
quake of devastating cunt portions. Um,
literally.
okay, my second pick here. I actually think this might even be a better pick than number one. I really think
Oh,
that this is like actually this is my note. Like this is the best pick I have. Um, And thinking of a guest that would be equally funny, that has a proven track record of doing hilarious shit, but is also an insanely talented musician. Because I think the best Muppet Show episodes are the ones where they can hold their own with the comedy, really bring their energy that's like to not only be in line with the Muppet energy and but to bring their own intense like beautifulness to this thing. Like that's why I love the Elton John episode and the Liza Minnelli episode and things like that, where it's an artist who is just across the board incredible in everything they're doing and bringing all of that to the Muppet Show. My second pick is the artist known as Thundercat. I think Thundercat would be the fucking perfect Muppet Show guest. Not only have they made some of the most incredible albums of the 21st century, Drunk is literally like one of my most streamed albums of all time. I think Thundercat is like the perfect person. They're hilarious. They're so funny. If you've seen Thundercat online, they just say funny shit all the time. And they're just talented as hell. And they also dress crazy like a Muppet. They dress like kind of with the Elton John shit. Like Thundercat, I think is the perfect Muppet Show guest.
You're opening my fucking third eye. I love Thundercat. I fuck so heavy with Thundercat.
I met
Oh,
Thundercat. He was really nice.
oh fucking course you did, because you're so cool. Fuck me. That's a really good pick. That's an all-rounder guest right there. Jesus Christ. Holy shit. Man.
Pretty good. I
You're
think
putting me
he
in a
would.
tough fucking spot here, because I gotta come up with one that's on par or in even in like the same league.
See,
Fuck.
Thundercat is like I. That's why I think he's someone that people aren't necessarily going to pick number one as their like Muppet Show guest. But for me, I'm like he should be. And just thinking about like thinking across the board of like celebrities that have that kind of all around talent for a Muppet Show thing, I can't think of anyone more equipped than Thundercat. And I actually think I suggested Zach Fox because he's like a collaborator with Thundercat. He's somebody that like is like Thundercat adjacent in the sense that he's worked with him a lot, holds that same ability to do comedy and music and everything. I realize that my whole list is just people who have worked with Thundercat. Like,
That's really good. It's just your entire premise is it's gotta be Thundercat. It's
no,
gotta be
literally.
Thundercat. Ooh, okay, so I think both of your picks are both really good and vibe wise for like Muppet Show because like with the original Muppet Show, not everybody who was on Muppet Show was a super mega star, but you got the sense that they were people that Jim Henson personally like fucked with their art. And then
Yes.
because then obviously you start to get guests like Stallone who like
And
let's
Liberace.
not beat around the bush. Sylvester Stallone was one of the worst fucking guests in the Muppet Show history. Sorry.
Hey, I'm here on the Muppet Show.
Below, I'm a lion.
Hey, I'm here. Where
He
are
was,
these
but he was a
Muppets
super
going?
mega star. But I think you need star power with something like the Muppet Show, and I think you guys, like definitely like they encapsulate like first two seasons type guest, where it's like, oh,
Yes.
they're famous. They're not like this isn't like we're not working with like fucking like Orson
Liberace.
Welles
Like,
here, but like we're not working with like the top famous person, but like they are famous, and but more so they are an incredible artist that we feel like gels with our vibe. But then
yes,
as they got further into the seasons, they were able to shoot higher.
absolutely.
So I guess all of mine are kind of like slightly higher shots
Yeah.
because I feel like the generation of celebrities now definitely like grew up with the Muppets, and so I have a love and reverence with for the Muppets, and even like Gen Z, like they grew up with the Muppets.
Yeah.
Like Sabrina Carpenter, she definitely was like fucking with the Muppets 2011.
Oh, she's the perfect pick for like a
Yeah.
Muppet Show thing. She's like, yeah, exactly. That's exactly, yeah.
But my
Agree
next
with you.
pick was somebody who would have grown up with like the Muppet Show and like the original Henson movies and stuff. Not to say that he's like a pensioner or anything, but like he would have grown up with that kind of Muppet stuff. And I feel like he's somebody who he's not only proven that he has like chops comedically, but I he's one of the most incredible performers working today, one of the most incredible actors, but also somebody who I feel like could get down and silly with Muppet stuff. There's actually kind of like a degree of separation here because he recently collaborated with Sabrina Carpenter on the music video for one of the best songs on Man's Best Friend, Tears, because my next pick is Coleman Domingo.
Oh,
I think
shit. That's a great pick.
I think Coleman Domingo would fuck it up on the Muppet Show.
Oh
I
my
think he would be
God. Yeah.
so fucking good. Like I don't know. I have a vision in my mind's eye. I see it. I see it so clearly.
Yeah.
He's somebody who is such like a brilliant performer, and to be like a truly good performer, in my opinion, you have to do comedy well. You have
Yeah.
to be good comedically as well. You've got to be an all-rounder. And I feel like Coleman Domingo is somebody who would not only like actively want to be on the Muppet Show probably, but I feel like he could really bring something to it because like in the 90s they were getting people who were like big stars but also really talented actors, people like Sandra Bullock and John Goodman for like
Yes.
Muppets Tonight. And I feel like Coleman Domingo is that kind of category of guests where it's like superstars who are also just like genuinely incredible artists.
Oh, oh, I agree with you so hard. I think Coleman Domingo is, I'm glad you brought up like the Sandra Bullock's, John Goodman's. Coleman Domingo to me feels like such a Muppets Tonight guest. And that is so real to
That's
me.
what I'm going for. He's a Muppets
I, and
Tonight
I,
guest.
I think that was a great way to think about it because like I personally wouldn't have thought of them in to pick for this thing. But now that you've mentioned it, I'm like, yeah, you've sold me. I'm picking up exactly what you're putting the fuck down.
Mm.
Like I would agree with you fully. My last pick is like there's three people here that like I think I want to say who they all are, but I want to go in depth and like really get in depth into one of them. So I there's a person that who is dead that I wish could have gotten a Muppet Show thing, but they like oh, I'll get into it. A guest that was previously on the Muppet Show that I think would be amazing if they brought them back, because that is also something that could happen if we got this revival. We could potentially get some people who are still alive to come back on, and then I have just like one more guest that I think would be like really good, just in general. But the person who's dead that I wish was not, who I wish they could still be on the Muppet Show, Phil Hartman. We brought up a bunch of like Simpson shit. Like Phil
That's
Hartman,
genius.
dude, it's like when I watched the Rick Moranis episode of Muppets Tonight, the only thing I think during it is like, this Phil Hartman should have been in a Muppet episode. Like he is that kind of fucking actor. Like, oh, he couldn't like. It just feels so bad because it's like they missed the opportunity with Muppets Tonight, and then now he's unfortunately passed. Phil Hartman would have been fucking perfect for a Muppet Show. Ah,
That's such a fucking good pick.
I would say in terms of somebody who used to be on the Muppet Show that I would want to see back again. I would love to see Steve Martin if we get a full reboot. Like he's still alive. He's still playing that fucking banjo. Get his ass back on. Like that
I'm gonna
would
be
be
honest.
so.
I had conceived of that, but in my mind, because he's been on such a kick of popularity lately, it would be like a special where you get the cast of Only Murders in the Building and they're the guests.
Yeah, I could
Because
see
like
that too.
it would
I honestly I think that would be really fucking cool.
Steve Martin and Martin Short as like a duo. That would ideally that would be my pick for like Muppet Vision guests, them doing it as a duo. But then it would be
Oh,
kind of weird if you didn't invite Selena on board as well. So you gotta have everybody on board. I personally would just rather it be the two. No shade. But
yeah.
like they have a good thing going, the three of them, so it probably would be a Only Murders in the Building like special.
I think so too. I think that would be really good. My kind of thought of putting Steve Martin on this list was just like, I think it'd be really cool to see someone who made an appearance on the Muppet Show who's still alive to come in and kind of just get back into it. I think it would be a really cool thing for the nostalgia, and I think it would just be like a really emotional thing for a lot of people watching. But my last, like the pick that I'm really like, I would want them, and again, another collaborator of Thundercat. Like this is another set of people, and I'm also cheating a little bit because it's a duo technically. I think that Silk Sonic would be a phenomenal guest on the Muppet
I
Show.
have to keep
Anderson
covering my
Paak.
face after every time you suggest a guess because I'm like, fuck, it's genius. Why didn't
Fuck, it's so
I
good.
think of that?
I think it would be so good. Anderson Paak and Bruno Mars, like incredible. Like I think for two reasons. One, Bruno Mars goes so beyond Silk Sonic in popularity that he's just like a fucking like it's Bruno Mars. I shouldn't have to explain why that is like an
You know
insane.
who Bruno Mars
You
is.
know who he is.
Oh,
Um,
also, very coincidentally, he literally just today announced he's dropping an album soon.
there we go. I didn't
So,
even know that.
very
And that's
topical.
fucking a live on the Muppet moment. So I think Silk Sonic. is a perfect guess because like yeah, Bruno Mars has that like mega star power. Anderson .Paak also very popular, insanely fucking talented. I love Anderson .Paak. I think he is so goddamn good. But Silk Sonic, oh, so much of like when you they like Silk Sonic and Evening with Silk Sonic, that album, so much of it. It had so much comedy on it, so many fucking bits, so many like little sketches where like Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars are kind of playing the character of like this sort of sleazy 70s are like singing like hitting on you, singing sleazy kind of vibe. I think if they brought that to the Muppet Show, and I think that would work so well because like the Muppet Show is relying so much off of the nostalgia of the original show, which was a 70s thing. Like Silk Sonic's relying so hard off of the nostalgia of the 70s. I think those two together would be fucking amazing and would really and it, even in like the sounds and like the way that the music would come across would I think feel the most like an original Muppet Show episode in terms of the music, the vibes of the guests, and everything around it. I think it would be the most like original Muppet Show episode they could do.
I'm glad you brought it up because they are very 70s in their vibe. No, and just like in the like not in the not just in the music, but in like in the music videos as well, like the wardrobe and just like the sets and everything. They're very 70s in their vibe, and so I think it would harken to that sort of era of the Muppets. And oh my gosh, a jam session with them in the Mayhem,
Come
heavenly.
on. Come
Literally,
on.
like people are like lifting out of their seats. Like fucking hell, that is such a good fucking guest suggestion. I'm so pissed off with you. You make me so angry
This is the
because
that's the
all of
real
your
one.
guest suggestions are so much better than mine. You make me furious. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, we're gonna give two honorable mentions now because like we're just gonna get them out of the way because they're like incredibly popular. But I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't mention. I think and because like yeah, they are popular. Like I think so and so should be in the Muppet Show, but like for a reason. So we're just gonna get it out of the way. Chapel Roan and Dochi,
Of
I think
course.
should
Of
both be
course.
involved with the Muppet Show.
Dochi,
Um,
especially for me, I think she would be fucking amazing on the Muppet
Dochi
Show.
would just have the fucking time of her life. I know it.
Mm,
But Chapel Roan, that would feel like just kind of like a full circle career moment for her.
yes.
But I have very strong feelings about the both of them being involved with the Muppet Show. Very strong positive feelings. So
I
those are my
agree.
two honorable mentions. Getting those out of the way. But there's one that's a slightly unconventional pick, and I'll be honest with you, he's somebody that I fully don't know how it would go. It could
Mm.
easily be the least entertaining Muppet thing ever, or it could be so funny that it recontextualizes the Muppets completely forever. But it's a comedian. Definitely someone who's been on the rise in recent years. He's a very absurdist comedian. He's definitely got a style about him. He's definitely got like an individual flair that is very much like love him or hate him. But I feel like if he brought some of that to the Muppets, it could genuinely be generational. And I feel like, because you know enough about me, Max, and I feel like
I,
from your body language, you know who I'm gonna
I
say.
know exactly who you're gonna say.
I just it will just be wish fulfillment to get Tim Robinson to work with the Muppets. I want Tim
Yes!
Robinson to work with the Muppets so
Best
bad.
pick. I genuinely, God, I wish I thought of that. Tim Robinson would be fucking amazing in a Muppet project.
Because either his humor would not, it would be like what is it, rubber and glue, and it would just not gel well with the Muppets at all, and it would be a train wreck. Or they could create a beautiful symbiosis that is just like, oh my God, I want it to happen.
I
I want it to happen.
I had a thought. Granted, I was a little messed up in the brain when I was thinking about this,
You
but
have
I
to
was
be.
like crying, laughing, thinking about like a sketch in the Muppet Show of Fozzie trying to do the straight man, funny man with Tim Robinson, but Tim like psychotically breaking down as Statler and Waldorf heckle them. Like I would love to see just like a
Him,
no,
him
no, stop talking. I have to do the joke.
It would be like there's a little specific like sketch, and I think you should leave that like makes me think of this, and it's the like the silent stage artist sketch where they keep
Yes.
trying to get him to talk, and it's him and Fuzzy trying to do like a routine, and he gets so like screaming, viscerally angry at Stellar and Waldorf to the point where they're both like terrified. He's like, "No, let me do what I need to do."
These guys just keep freaking just talking over me, man. When I'm just trying to
Fucking
when I'm trying to make my joke.
fucking jackasses cracking jokes up there in the fucking stand. Let me do what I'm here to do.
You guys are fucking crazy. I think it would be a really funny thing too to have like an opportunity to have Fozzie be yes, Fozzie doesn't like these guys, but Tim's reacting way too hard to it.
I
I think
want
it'd be a
Fozzie to
really, it's like,
seem
oh no, that's
funnier.
it's
In
like, no, but Tim, this is just kind of what they do. Like, that's part of the joke. Like, they heckle me and like, they no, no,
I hate you,
I hate you, you fuckers,
little rats.
nasty little fucks.
I want Tim Robinson to come and like throw them off of the balcony. I want to
Literally,
come by, grab them by the necks and throw them off the balcony. I just
dude.
feel like him, like the Muppets being like, we seem so fucking normal tonight. We seem so regular.
Oh
Who
my
is this man?
god.
I want Tim Robinson's whole thing to be like he's not even supposed to be the guest, and he just turned up.
I
They're like
just freaking found an open door, man.
they're like maybe they got some like normal ass comedian to be like the guest, some kind of like really safe like comedian, and
You're like
then
a Milton Berle-esque kind of dude.
it's just like a completely harmless like a fucking like Stephen Colbert type,
Yeah.
just a completely harmless comedian. And then Tim shows up and the Muppets are like, we feel so fucking like regular tonight. Is this what we seem like to people? Is this
In
what people think
line,
we are?
dude, that
Could
is
be
such a good
generational.
idea and like very in line with that. I think it would be really fucking funny. Like I think, and I like how this podcast has just turned into us being like, dude, what if this guy was on it
That'd
and
be
this is how
funny.
this sketch would go? That'd be so funny.
That would be
But
so
like,
cool if like Kermit gave me a high five. Wouldn't that be
it'd
cool?
be so sick. But I think one of the funniest fucking things that like has come out of late night show shit has been all the interactions between Seth Meyers and Connor O'Malley. I think it would be really fucking funny to have a thing where like Seth is supposed to be the guest on the Muppet Show, but he like only contractually did it with fucking Connor there, and it's like the Muppets trying to have to work around Connor while
That would
Seth
be a
is.
literal dream, but I don't. I think Conor O'Malley is just a little bit too adult for like the
See,
Muppet.
that's the thing.
He's
Tim
he's ever so slightly teetering over the line because I think there is a room for adult comedy in the Muppets, and I think the Muppets should be shooting for adult audiences as well as like accessible to kids. But I think that Conor O'Malley is just a
uh
teetering step over the line
it's frustrating. I think
because
Tim.
he would feel a little bit too like sanitized if he was doing Muppet stuff. I feel like he wouldn't feel the need to tone himself down to a point where he's not as funny as he should be.
See, and then in terms of people, see, and that's a good point where I think Tim is just like right towing the line where he's like just a
Yeah.
little less absurd. But I think, I mean, they've already been involved in Muppet shit. They were in Muppets 2015. Fucking Key and Peele would have such a good Muppet Show episode. Like, god damn, they'd be good.
Keegan Michael Key is probably the one that they would be the most likely to get as like a
Easy, yeah.
guest because
He does all of those things. He
yeah,
always.
he does fucking whatever nowadays. To be honest with you, Jordan Peele is like a guest, like a dream guest for me because I fucking love his work as a director. I think he was fucking hilarious on Key and Peele. His work as a director is like some of my favorite like filmmaking. I think he's a legitimate genius, and I think he's one of the best like American directors working today. To get him on the Muppet Show and getting back to his comedy roots, absolute cinema,
Cinema.
absolute fucking cinema. Oh my goodness, I feel
I
like
think
we
that
both went way over three each.
I was
We,
about to say it went from us just being like, yeah, let's briefly discuss who we might, and it's become, dude. And if this person goes on, I'll be
wouldn't it
happy,
be great? Wouldn't it be great if fucking Foo Fighters were on there again?
bro. And would you remember when they did the drum battle between Dave Grohl,
Imagine,
Grohl,
Imagine Dragon Muppet Show. Like,
dude? They played the last of the real ones song in the Muppet Show. This is the last of the real ones.
okay,
I
but now
think
I do want Fall Out Boy on just so they do the last of the real ones and all the Muppets go like that.
I think I need Fall Out Boy on the Muppet Show only to sing "This is the last of the real ones."
Now,
I think. Do we want to briefly touch on the merch that's coming out? Like, it's
my I think the thing that I feel about it is that we've got some merch already. We got a Muppet Treasure Island cup. That is cool. There have been leaks about a big pin release. That is cool. The way I see it, I'm unfortunately gripped in the very tight grasp of commercialism, and I'm
Yes.
unfortunately falling victim to it a little bit. I mean, as you can see, I've got a whole massive bookshelf. This is going to be filled with just Muppet things.
Yeah.
Not all of it is new though, because a lot of it's pre-owned. I much prefer to buy pre-owned, but like, and I don't buy every single new Muppet thing that comes out. That's not the way that I like to run my collection. I'm very intentional in the things that I buy. So like this Muppet Treasure Island cup, I think it's cute. Personally, I'm not in a rush to buy it, and I probably won't. I'm very intentional in the things that I select, but I do fear this is gonna be if they keep it up like this, and now that they're about to have a whole new like gift shop at the Disney parks, which means they're going to have to make more merch. And if they're doing a big Muppet show, like, and they're doing a big push for the Muppets, they're going to make more things to sell. I'm worried it's going to be a very expensive year. It's already last year was such an expensive year, and I just fucking got here. And
Dude, I agree. I think my kind of take with Muppet merch and merch of anything I'm interested, my kind of across the board new like take and nuance with it is like I don't give a shit about when merch comes out because I think it's always like a way to play safe, like the actual quality media. It's like, here's some more consumerism slop for you instead of like the actual thing. However, because I say that in front of an entire pile of Muppet things, is that like I my hope like that is like obviously the kind of idea that I have behind it is that like I really don't give a shit when like merch comes out and stuff. But if I obviously understand that we live in like a capitalist society in which like Disney is trying to profit off of the Muppets. They need this thing to be profitable. That's the way they're viewing it in terms of success to like be able to like succeed and everything like that. Like Disney, I think if this show succeeds, what it's going to do is that there's going to be a need for a lot more Muppet merch. And there's going, as Will said, there's going to be a whole new like Muppet gift shop and everything. Like more Muppet merch is going to exist. My kind of hope for that is that it's quality and that it's like stuff that's worth buying. And Will made a good point about intentionality is that like I do love collecting Muppet things, but only when it comes to shit that it's like I can be very intentional about. And so if it's just another like round of like Muppets Amazon slop, then like I don't fucking care and I don't need it. But if it's more things like the Muppet Treasure Island anniversary cup and more things, it's like I can understand why people would want that, and I do see myself consuming the stuff that is well intentioned and quality. So that's like kind of my nuance I have about new Muppet merch.
yeah, like I don't like handful shovel into my mouth every single like piece of Muppet merch I can get, but I will take a very calculated spoonful. I will take a
Literally.
portful. I will put some in a Tupperware pot and think about it, and then come back and eat it later.
Oh, I'm meal prepping some of this Muppet
I
stuff.
know that if Disney makes it, unfortunately, there is some stuff that I know I'll be buying.
Yeah, because it's like
If they do
I'm
anything marginally cute with Kermit the Frog, that's going in.
no, dude. If they acknowledge, if they do go as far as to just even acknowledge Bean Bunny and merchandise, I'm just gonna be like, okay, I'm buying it. Fucking Bean Bunny merch in 20. They put a frackle on a shirt. I have to buy it. This is the first time we've ever gotten frackle merch. God,
Literally,
fuck.
next we'll be getting like they're gonna do another round of busts, and it's just gonna be each individual Frackle. You know
Fuck.
what?
I would have
I'm
to.
just
I would have to buy it.
I just feel like if they get a little bit sort of like some of the stuff that was at D23 Expo is of a higher quality, with a higher standard. So and like not all of it obviously is going to be winners because Disney are a company that has realized that people will buy the cheap shit sometimes. People
Yeah,
will
they'll
buy the
buy
cheaply
anything.
made stuff that has a picture of Stitch on it. Folks will buy it, and that's not even against people who want to buy stuff that has their favorite characters on. I'm somebody like
No, I think
I bought some garbage before just because it had a character that I liked on it, and
I
then
think we're making just like a bigger point about consumerism and how that has been
yeah.
used, like been used to fill the stomachs of fans without giving them actually something quality. I think that it's like there's new Muppet shit coming out, and if it's quality, I could see myself buying it. I not to just divert us from the merch discussion. When we brought up the Frackles real quick, obviously we only saw the that like we saw like two Frackles in the archway section of the Muppet Show trailer, and we saw Sabrina Carpenter interacting with a Frackle.
Let's
This
go
could
on
be a
about
thing where
heaven.
it's just, you know how they've done things in the past on the Muppet Show where there's like just like a whole collection of monsters that are there like interacting with the guests, and they go through and like do their whole thing with each one. What I hope is that this is a situation in which background characters, small obscure characters like a Mo Frackle, like these like smaller things are getting featured prominently featured. Like how incredible instead of like a freaking like because in that trailer it could have easily been someone like Sweetums or something. It could have been like Thog. It could have been like all of these Muppets that they've used in the past as to be like, this is the one that is always is there, like when a woman's dancing. Like the mutations are there like half the time a woman is like having their like dance number on like the Muppet Show. I think it's really interesting to see like a Frackle in that position. To me, this speaks to the thing we brought up earlier of like the Henson and the original Muppet Show, just like being giving the performers the ability to kind of choose a character that speaks to them or like pick something up from the pile. But and two, I think this is like a cool thing that if we get background characters more prominently featured, like are we about to get an arc where the Frackles are like more involved in the show and like are becoming actual characters? Like, am I going to go to Disney? Am I going to go to the fucking Food and Wine Festival and find Mo Frackle merch at Epcot? Like, is
I feel
that
like
what
that is
we're about to
incredibly
approach? I
wishful.
hope so.
It's incredibly wishful thinking, but I support the vision. But like, I think just at the end of this, like all of this stuff that we have talked about, all of the speculation and all of the certainty and all of the what could be for the future, I just think that it is indicative of the fact that, and I've said it a few times, it genuinely feels like we're on the real cusp of another 2011 movement. And I made a video about this, how it feels like there's something in the wind, and we have seen this before. I want it to catch on a little bit more than it did with the 2011 movement because that got a good 4 years of steam, and then, but
Yeah.
I really could do with another Muppets era, not just for us who are like grown ass adults enthused with the Muppets, but like, and it was the reason that Jason Segel did it. And I'm pretty sure it's the reason why Seth Rogen's doing it. A new generation of kids to enjoy the Muppets as well. I want the kids to grow up and appreciate culture. Anytime that any of my friends is like babysitting a kid or like babysitting their nephew or something, I always tell them you have to raise them right and you have to put them onto the Muppet Show while they're in your care. Make them watch the Muppet Show while they're in your care. Let it imprint on them, and then they'll come back to it later and be awesome like me. As
I
somebody who is in their 20s and is like horrifically like expending horrific amounts of time and money on the Muppets. Don't you want that for the youth of
don't you
tomorrow?
don't you be cool like me? I think that like the point of there not being a Muppet thing in a while is important, and it's like Jason Segel, like that's been like kind of the tagline that he had making the 2011 movie is that it's been like a decade since there was a Muppet project, and for this generation, this next generation of kids, like Gen Alpha and all that. The Muppets are such quality, great media that has done so much for American culture, for the for world culture, has like the Muppets have always been always had relevancy and has always been a cultural gigantic force, and kids missing out on that, it's not because the Muppets are like low quality or because the Muppets like it's because like Disney is fumbling this bag of this like incredibly like these characters with incredibly beautiful proven track record that have had so much impact that are so important to the world's cultural diaspora. Like I think that like children growing up with the Muppets is a super important thing. It teaches them so much about like the world and culture, the whole concepts of like loving everyone and respecting everyone's differences. It's like good, empathetic stuff to grow up with that teaches you good value. And like I think the Muppets coming back in any capacity, especially a show that is so much more in line with the original shit they were doing, really important, really great thing. And I'm very happy that that's happening.
Could not have put it better because I was like, as I said, I want the Muppets to return and I want them to come back in a big way, but I want them to come back in a way that is true to them, where they create truly timeless, like art, I guess is the best way to say it. I want it to be something for everybody. I want it to be something that's accessible to everybody. And yeah, I think that's what the Muppets are. They're somebody who they are. entertainers that are for everyone, and they are entertainers that can entertain everybody, which is a hard thing to do. But like Jim and the original crew, they managed to achieve it, and my hope is for the Muppets that they continue to achieve that. And I guess it's just a matter of waiting and seeing. We've got about a month,
Yeah, we've got a
under a
month.
month now until we find out. It's scary as hell.
Oh my God. I think it's like Will said that he's hosting a little watch party
Mhm.
over where he's at. I'm doing the same thing here in Seattle. We're all having bated breath. And in the sense that there's a lot going on with the Muppets. I have shit that we're so excited about. There's things that I'm nervous about. But I think Will and I can both agree here that at the very least, 2026 feels like there's been a shift in attitudes towards the Muppets. There's been a shift in the winds. It seems like that Muppet things are on the horizon, and I'm very excited for this Muppet special. I think specifically this will be the thing that like really is a determining factor on whether or not the Muppets are relevant for the or not in like the Muppets relevancy is not from the fault of their own. It's from the corporation that owns them like not doing like what they should with these characters. I think this show really, really will determine whether or not Disney uses the Muppets in the future. And if it is successful and we get a wave of Muppet shit again, I will be so happy. But I'm also going into it with some hesitancy. Just like I'm nervous. This is like a thing that I really, really want to succeed. And and we at the Muppet Moment podcast are really encouraging. We want our listeners, we want everyone in this community to go enjoy the hell out of this special, watch it, even if it isn't perfect, even if it isn't the thing that is like so like even if it isn't a perfect Muppet thing, we should be so fucking happy that a high quality Muppet project is coming back. And I'm so excited, but I'm very nervous and I really want this to succeed.
Absolutely. Please go and watch it because to a company like Disney, money talks and numbers talk. So absolutely do go and stream it and do go and support it, but do remain critical and and don't be afraid to hold like artists like the Muppets to a high standard because as I said before, one of the most like when you show that you truly love something, it's to continue loving something and be able to criticize it. That
Yeah.
to me is true love. And I like there are parts of the Muppets that I will criticize. There are parts of all the areas of the Muppets I will criticize. But just have optimism at the forefront of your decision making process right now, I think is the thing that we just want to emphasize. But
Yeah.
because that's what I'm going into 2026 with, and I'm just excited to see everything unfold.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really good year. I think that in terms of Muppet things, we have a lot to look forward to. I think that this is something that hasn't happened in a long time. I think it's been a fucking minute since we've had just excitement over new Muppet projects, since we've had this feeling like, oh my God, there's like a community of Muppet people who are excited to watch this. Like in 2011, I remember how huge culturally that ended up being, seeing Muppet stuff everywhere at the stores, seeing Kermit and Piggy and all of these things featured prominently. I just think that we're close to that again. I feel it so hard. I just feel like, I don't care if I sound naive. I'm really, really hopeful for a new
Yes.
Muppet era.
That's what it is, it's a sense of hope. And not only is it going to be a big year for like Muppets in an official capacity, but if you want to keep listening in, it's going to be a big year for us as well because we got some mighty big plans. We got big
Oh yeah.
plans.
A Muppet Moment 2026. We're going to have a lot of really fantastic episodes, fantastic guests, a lot to look forward to here. There's going to be way more things happening on Muppetgram, more live streams, more events, more of that stuff. I had the best time doing those like weird puppet girl Shelby, her Muppet murder mysteries and family feuds and stuff like that. Like there's like events happening all year. There's Muppets Take Mahoning. There's gonna be like another Momi weekend. There's like a ton of things happening. There's gonna be the opening of this new Rock and Roller Coaster theme. Like I'm very excited. I think there's gonna be a lot going on, and I just think that this year is gonna be a great year for Muppets in general.
Oh yeah. So please continue tuning in with us if you want to hear what we have to say about everything that is to come and everything that we're going to talk about that has already come before. So thank you all so much for listening to our first episode of 2026. Our first of many because now we got a whole year slate and not just the last couple months of the year. But You'll take care. Thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you later on in 2026.
Thank you. Have a good new year, y'all.
Bye bye, everybody.
Bye.